Chapter 46, Fire Rhinoceros King. 2. Then if you see her again, can you recognize her? Can. I will recognize her even if she turns into ashes, the Fire Rhinoceros King hurriedly promised. They'll bring her here. I won't kill you if you can recognize her, Lung Ruoshua said. Wise. Lung Ruoshua took out a pill and stuffed it into the Fire Rhinoceros King's mouth. This is poison. Don't even think about running. Otherwise, you won't last 3 days. The Fire Rhinoceros King was on the brink of tears. This was its territory, so where could it run? It wasn't easy to conquer such a territory, so how could it bear to abandon it? After doing what she came here to do, Lung Ruoshua and Yichen left the misty woods. Of course, they didn't forget to take the dead fire rhinoceroses with them. They were their spoils of war. Schwer, did you really give the Fire Rhinoceros King poison? Yichen asked curiously. Of course not. It will just cause diarrhea for some time, Lung Ruoshua said mischievously. How long will it last? Yichen was curious. Until I give it the antidote, Lung Ruoshua said matter-of-factly. Doesn't that mean it won't have the strength to run? So ruthless, but he liked it. Does it dare to run? That fellow might look mighty, but it's actually very cowardly, Lung Ruoshua said clear-headedly. They had caught more than a dozen fire rhinoceroses, so that fellow knew that it couldn't continue to ignore the situation. If it weren't for the sake of protecting its dignity as the Fire Rhinoceros King, it wouldn't have been willing to come out. Moreover, it only came out as a bluff by relying on its numbers. Quill, find an open space to stop, Lung Ruoshua said all of a sudden. What's the matter? Yichen was puzzled. I'm going to break through, Lung Ruoshua explained. She had broken through to Advanced Spiritual Sovereign for several months now and had stored up enough spiritual power, but there had been no sign of advancing to peak Spiritual Sovereign. She didn't expect to feel that she was going to break through from the fight just now. Quill found a relatively flat place to land. Lung Ruoshua jumped off Quill's back and sat cross-legged on the ground. She broke through to peak Spiritual Sovereign in no time since it was only a minor stage. So except for the relatively low-level silver wolves advancing 1 or 2 levels, none of her other beasts advanced. Lung Ruoshua gazed at her spiritual power that was a deep gold color, a color that only peak spiritual sovereigns possessed. Spiritual power would have color after breaking through to Great Spiritualist. The color for Great Spiritualist was silvery white. For Spiritual Monarch, it was light gold, and the color from Elementary to peak would gradually deepen. The color for Spiritual Sovereign was gold, and it would also gradually deepen from Elementary to peak. It was the same for Spiritual Supremacy and Spiritual Deity. The color for Spiritual Supremacy was purple gold, and the color for Spiritual Deity was purple. Moreover, there was no Elementary, Intermediate, Advanced, or Peak for Spiritual Deity. When using spiritual skills to fight, the spiritual power released would mainly be the color of the spiritual power attribute, except that there would be a colored layer corresponding to the user's spiritual power level enveloping it. This way, it would be easy to differentiate the levels of people when others were watching them fight. Otherwise, people of low levels wouldn't be able to know the strength of those of higher levels. It took a long time to advance to peak Spiritual Sovereign, Lung Ruoshua complained. Her heaven-defying art was still at the 2nd level. Only after completing the 2nd level would her strength be equivalent to Spiritual Supremacy. Be content, you greedy little thing. Many people never reach Spiritual Sovereign, Yichen said with feigned anger. That's true. Lung Ruoshua was just joking. In fact, she was very satisfied. Even though she hadn't advanced to Spiritual Supremacy yet, with her current strength, she might not necessarily lose to someone at that level. If she had the chance, she had to find an unlucky Spiritual Supremacy to try. After Lung Ruoshua and Yichen returned to the Lung residence, they went to their respective rooms to rest. The next morning, Lung Ruoshua went to see her big brother as soon as she woke up. But she didn't expect Yichen to be earlier than her. Moreover, the two of them seemed to be chatting happily. She couldn't help being curious. What are they talking about? Big brother. Schwer, you're here? Lung Ruhan's mood had improved significantly. Why are you here? Lung Ruoshua looked at Yichen in puzzlement. This fellow actually didn't go back to his home after returning to Phoenix City last night but insisted on staying at her place. I came to chat with Big Brother, Yichen said with a light smile. What were you talking about? Lung Ruoxue was curious. Are they close? This is a secret between men, Yichen said mysteriously. Then you continue chatting with Big Brother first. I have something to do, Lung Ruoxue said. Tsk, he's actually leaving me hanging. With that, she left the cold tea pavilion. Schwer! Lung Ruhan called out from behind her. Is Schwer angry? He asked worriedly. Schwer actually ignored me. Big Brother, don't worry. She won't be angry, Yichen said. Miss, why are you back so soon? Lu Tao was slightly surprised when she saw her young miss, who had just left, return within a short time. It's okay, Lu Tao. You and Cui Zhu just have to cultivate diligently. Lung Ruoxue reminded her. Before leaving, she had left spiritual essence pills for them, so these two girls were now intermediate spiritual monarchs. Yes, Mississippi, don't worry. Cui Zhu and I will cultivate seriously, Lu Tao said gratefully. If not for their young miss, they didn't know how long it would have taken for them to advance to spiritual monarch. Moreover, after consuming the spiritual essence pills she left for them, they clearly felt that they absorbed spiritual power much faster than before. Eat this. One each for you and Cui Zhu. Lung Ruoxue took out 2 red spirit fruits. Thank you, Mississippi. Lu Tao knew that everything her young miss gave was something good. I don't need any attending here. Leave and eat the spirit fruit, Lung Ruoxue said. Yes. Schwer. Grandfather. Schwer, do you have a way to treat Ruhan's injuries? Lung Qingtian asked directly. He knew that Ruhan was willing to speak now. I don't know either. I have to search through the pill formulas Master left me, Lung Ruoxue said. Look for it then. Grandpa will accompany Ruhan, Lung Qingtian said worriedly. Grandpa, don't go yet. Yichen is there. They seem to be having a good time chatting. Lung Ruoxue stopped him. She was afraid that her grandfather wouldn't be able to control himself and reveal a pained expression when he saw her big brother. That would put a lot of pressure on him. Chapter 47. Breakthrough at last. Okay. Grandpa won't go see him now. He knew that his grandson was a proud person, and the last thing he needed was pity, even if it was from his relatives. Grandpa, let's enter the Heaven and Earth bracelet to take a look. It has changed a lot since I unlocked a layer of the seal, Lung Ruoxue said. But Grandpa will enter and take a look then. Lung Ruoxue brought her grandfather into the Heaven and Earth bracelet. Lung Qingshan's eyes widened as he stared at the scenery in front of him. The space had become larger, and the spiritual energy was denser than before. It was really a good place to cultivate. Schwer, where did these silver wolves come from? Lung Qingtan looked curiously at the silver wolves running around leisurely or lying on their stomachs in the distance. They are my contracted spirit beasts, Lung Ruoxue said. The Silver Wolf King had been imploring her to let his subordinates in ever since he entered. Seeing that this place was pretty big, she had moved the silver wolves staying in the spirit beast space here. Lung Qingtian was speechless. My granddaughter is really too abnormal. Schwer, do you know that spiritual sovereigns can only contract up to 3 spirit beasts? 5 for spiritual supremacies. And it is said that the spiritual deities, the highest level on the Ling Feng continent, can contract 10. You, Lung Qingtian didn't know what to say. Grandpa, I have more than just these silver wolves. I also have a divine beast and 2 level 8 holy beasts. The Silver Wolf King advanced 1 level after coming here, and he's now a level 7 holy beast, Lung Ruoxue explained mischievously. Grandpa should feel relieved now. Most of these silver wolves are holy beasts as well, right? Lung Qingtian asked. Yes, they are generally level 2 and 3 holy beasts. You're still not satisfied with level 2 and 3? The 5 great families combined don't have as many holy beasts as you do. Lung Qingtian couldn't help but sigh. The top families didn't have as good a holy beast allocation as everyone imagined because there were many younger generations and disciples. Most of them had advanced spirit beasts. They were not qualified to enjoy holy beasts unless they were the top geniuses in their respective families. Schwer, Grandpa can finally rest assured now, Leng Qingtian said. No one on the Ling Feng continent can bully Shuer with these spirit beasts of hers. By the way, Shuer, what level are you now? Leng Qingtian asked curiously. Shuer had always been hiding her true strength, so even he, a spiritual supremacy, couldn't discern her level. Grandpa, see for yourself? Leng Ruoxue casually removed the shield hiding her level. Spiritual sovereign. Peak spiritual sovereign. Monster, what a monster. Ruhen and Huaqin were called stunning geniuses when they advanced to spiritual sovereign at the age of 20. His granddaughter was only 15 years old. A 15-year-old peak spiritual sovereign, isn't this a deliberate blow to my confidence? Big sister, big sister. The little wolf rubbed against Leng Ruoxue's calf coquettishly. Grandpa, this is little Feng Feng, the Silver Wolf King's child, Leng Ruoxue introduced. Hello, little Feng Feng. Leng Qingtian pet the little silver wolf's head lovingly. Spirit beast cubs were very cute. Hello, Grandpa, the little wolf greeted politely. Good. And me. To me. Beloved Master's grandpa. I am beloved Master's darling. Darling refused to be outdone. A few drops of sweat rolled down Leng Qingshan's forehead. Is this cute little purple fox saying a tongue twister? Grandpa, his name is Darling, a cringy fox, Leng Ruoxue explained. Oh Darling is very cute, Leng Qingtian said. This fox is quite interesting. Yes. Beloved Master's grandpa, you have good taste, Darling said proudly. Grandpa, talk to them for a while. I'll go and see if there are any pill formulas that can cure Big Brother. Go on. I'll chat with these cute little fellows. Don't worry about me. Leng Ruoxue walked into the alchemy room of the purple bamboo hut and carefully read the notes her master left behind, looking for a pill formula that could cure her brother. Qingju. Big sister. Qingju appeared directly in front of Leng Ruoxue when he heard her calling. Qingju, you should know my brother's condition. Yes. Although he couldn't leave the heaven and earth bracelet currently, he knew about the situation outside. I just read Master's notes. There are no related pill formulas recorded in them. Have you heard Master mention anything before? Leng Ruoxue asked. Qingju had traveled through many spaces with her master and knew a lot of things. Big sister, old master still has a utility room. The things inside are all things that old master didn't think were important. You can look through there. If there isn't anything there, then there isn't any, Qingju said after some thought. Where? I'll bring you. Big sister, this is the place, Qingju said. Leng Ruoxue looked at the so-called utility room. It was very neat and tidy. Although it was full of things that her master didn't fancy, he didn't throw them into here casually. Alas, her master's standards were too high. Every piece of junk in this utility room would be a priceless treasure if taken outside. But her master didn't fancy them at all. However, she was not as extravagant as her master, and many things here were still very useful to her currently. Leng Ruoxue carefully searched through every corner and finally found what she needed among a pile of pill formulas that her master thought were useless. The pill formula had an essence restoration pill, an intermediate pill that wasn't difficult to concoct. She was just short of the main ingredient, essence restoration grass. She had all the other herbs, but what was essence restoration grass? Grandpa. Leng Ruoxue left the purple bamboo hut and saw her grandfather playing with little Feng Feng. Shuer, how is it? Did you find anything? Leng Qingtian asked anxiously when he saw his granddaughter come out. Yes. Grandpa, don't worry. Big brother will be fine. Leng Ruoxue comforted him. That's good, that's good. Leng Qingtian finally felt relieved. Grandpa, I have the pill formula, but I'm missing the main ingredient. Chapter 48. Missing the essence restoration grass, what is it? Grandpa will get people to buy it immediately, Leng Qingtian said anxiously. Essence restoration grass. Although Leng Ruoxue had never heard of essence restoration grass, Qingju said that it was not a very precious medicinal herb. Grandpa will get people to find it. Grandpa, it won't hurt to wait a bit longer. Let's go see Big Brother. She was also at ease now that she had the pill formula. Okay. They arrived at the cold tea pavilion and heard people talking before they were near. It's old man Lin, Leng Qingtian said. Old Man Lin had been coming to his home to bring news almost every day ever since Ruhan was injured. Ruhan, Master is relieved that you are willing to speak, Lin Liang said sadly. Ruhan was his only disciple, and he had just advanced to spiritual sovereign not long ago. But who knew that something like this would happen? Alas, he was useless and let his disciple suffer. He also let his old friend down. Master, I'm fine now. Don't worry. Lung Ruhan comforted him. He had known for a long time that he was already a disabled person who could no longer cultivate spiritual power. The reason he was still alive now was all because Ardent had exchanged his life for his. Thus, he wouldn't wallow in self-pity. He would live well. He would not let Ardent's sacrifice be in vain. Old thing, why are you here again? Didn't I tell you that you don't need to bring news every day? Lung Qingtian shouted as soon as he entered the room. After entering the room, Lung Ruoxue saw her brother sitting opposite Grandpa Lin, who didn't like her much. Meanwhile, Yichen was sitting in a corner. Grandpa Lin. Lung Ruoxue greeted Lin Liang. Although she was a little angry at the people of the Heavenly Phoenix Academy, this person was her grandfather's friend and her brother's master, so she would still give him face. Ruoxue, you're back? Lin Liang nodded. This little girl seems different from the last time I saw her. Yes. Spend more time with Ruhan. He's been very worried about you since you left home, Lin Liang said. Sometimes, he would be jealous that this girl had such a loving grandfather and brother. I will. I won't let anyone who bullies Big Brother off either, Lung Ruoxue said, implying that he shouldn't stop her from doing what she wanted to do. Ruhan, you have a good sister? Lin Liang smiled bitterly. This girl is warning me. Fine, I'll let this girl do what is inconvenient for me to do. I know. Of course, Lung Ruhan knew that he had a good sister. Lass, you are a student of our academy. Now that you are home, shouldn't you go to the academy for classes? Lin Liang reminded her. Of course. But I want to stay at home and accompany Big Brother for a few days before going. How could she find those people to take revenge if she didn't go to the academy? She would definitely go to the academy. May I go? Yichen suddenly asked. Lin Liang looked at Yichen for a long time, but he couldn't discern anything. Okay, go with Ruoxue? Lin Liang said helplessly. Am I too old? I can't see through the youngsters these days. Thank you. Big Brother, let's grill some meat later. Lung Ruoxue suggested. Anything you like? Lung Ruhan had always granted his sister's requests. How could he have any objections? Shuer, what meat is this? It smells so good, Lung Qingyun couldn't help asking when he smelled the alluring meat. Shuer specially kept some earth python meat for Grandpa and Big Brother. How is it, old thing? My granddaughter is still the most filial, isn't she? It's all thanks to Ruhan and me that you can eat such delicious meat, Lung Qingtian said proudly. Knowing that his grandson had a chance to be cured, he felt relaxed. Yes, I'm so envious of you. Lin Liang rolled his eyes at him. He had not had a good night's sleep since Ruhan's accident. He felt relieved seeing Ruhan pull himself together today. Shuer, is this wind rabbit meat? Lung Ruhan couldn't help asking after eating another piece of meat. Yes. Big Brother, eat less. There will be something better in a bit. Lung Ruoxue said mysteriously. Something better? Lung Qingshan's curiosity was piqued. Is there any meat more delicious than earth python and wind rabbit? Well, this meat tastes better with Shuer's seasonings. Of course. This is it. Lung Ruoxue took out a large piece of meat that she had prepared from her ring and started grilling it on the fire. Although this meat tastes good, it's not as delicious as the earth python meat. Lung Ruhan said in puzzlement after taking a bite. Yes, Shuer, what meat is this? Lung Qingtian was also a little curious. Fire rhinoceros meat, Lung Ruoxue said. This meat is good. Is there any more? Lin Liang asked. He would eat their meat since they dared hurt his disciple. A lot. Give me more. Master, you've already eaten a lot, Lung Ruhan couldn't help saying. I'm not full yet, Lin Liang said childishly. No more today. Big Brother needs to rest. Everyone, disperse, Lung Ruoxue said. I didn't say I wanted to rest, Lung Ruhan said aggrievedly. Shuer is so overbearing. Lung Ruoxue secretly gave Yichen a look. Yichen understood and went directly to Lung Ruhan's ear to say a few words. After this, Lung Ruhan obediently returned to his room to rest. What did you say to Big Brother just now? Lung Ruoxue asked curiously after her grandfather and the others left. Nothing much. I just told him that Shuer would be angry if he didn't listen, so he went to bed obediently, Yichen explained. That's simple? Yes, that's simple. I'm smart, right? Yichen said proudly. I'm sleepy. I'm going to bed, Lung Ruoxue said indifferently while rolling her eyes at him. She was going to let this freak be proud on his own. Big Brother, Lung Ruoxue called softly when she came to her brother's room. Her brother's complexion had improved a lot over the past few days. Shuer. Lung Ruhan, who was standing by the window, turned around. Chapter 49. Big Brother's Wish. Big Brother, what are you thinking about? Lung Ruoxue felt that her brother had something to say to her these past few days. Shuer, the academy competition is in 2 months, Lung Ruhan said after some thought. So what? Lung Ruoxue didn't care. What does the competition have to do with me? I didn't go to the academy to be gilded, so the honor of the academy has nothing to do with me. I want you to take part in my place, Lung Ruhan said. His master had mentioned it to him yesterday. Big Brother, is it not enough that they've hurt you? Do you still have to worry about their honor now? Lung Ruoxue said a little angrily. Shuer, Big Brother doesn't want Master to be in a difficult situation. Don't blame him. Moreover, all the effort I've put in for the past 3 years is for this academy competition, Lung Ruhan explained. It was a tough call, but he was very clear about his master's difficulties, so he chose to remain silent. Besides, I've already made an appointment with Huaqing to compete in this academy competition 3 years ago. But now, the academy competition was a comprehensive evaluation among all the academies on the Ling-Feng continent. All the academies on the Ling-Feng continent, regardless of their size, could participate once every 3 years. The top 3 places in the previous years were basically monopolized by the 3 major academies: Rising Dragon Academy, Heavenly Phoenix Academy, and Lunar Shadow Academy. Among all the academies, the Rising Dragon Academy was the strongest and often ranked first, while the Heavenly Phoenix Academy and the Lunar Shadow Academy vied for second place. The Heavenly Phoenix Academy originally had the chance to obtain first place in the academy competition 3 years ago, but its overall strength was slightly inferior to the Rising Dragon Academy, so it had only obtained second place. For Lung Ruhan, this was definitely a pity. He originally thought that he had a chance this time, but, Big Brother, they'll take your place, Lung Ruoxue said helplessly. It wasn't like her brother didn't know that his spiritual power would recover as long as she found the essence restoration grass and concocted the essence restoration pill. Yet he was still acting pitiful with her. But if I can concoct the essence restoration pill before the academy competition, Big Brother, you will still have to participate, Lung Ruoxue said. It was better to realize his wish with his own hands. Okay, Lung Ruhan said. But he did not have much hope. Essence restoration grass was something that no one on the Ling-Feng continent had heard of, so how could it be so easy to find? Young Master Fu is here, Mingyan reported. Which young Master Fu? Lung Ruoxue asked. Shuer, he is my friend, Lung Ruhan explained amusedly. Shuer is acting like a mother beast protecting her cubs, afraid that someone will bully me. Oh. Since your friend is here, Shuer will go back first? Lung Ruoxue didn't intend to disturb her brother from getting along with his friend. When she reached the door, Lung Ruoxue happened to meet the young Master Fu that Mingyan mentioned, so she took a look at him. He was a handsome man in his early 20s, tall and full of nobility. She only took one look and walked away. Lung Ruoxue came to her grandfather's study and saw Yichen playing chess with her grandfather. She couldn't help but sigh. This freak is really capable. He actually subdued Grandpa and Big Brother. He's staying at my house and not leaving, but Grandpa and Big Brother are actually letting him do whatever he wants. Grandpa? Shuer, didn't you go see Ruhan? Why are you back so soon? Lung Qingtian asked. Young Master Fu is here, so I excused myself. What is he doing here? Lung Qingtian said displeasedly. Grandpa, what's wrong? Is there something wrong with young Master Fu? Lung Ruoxue asked doubtfully. There's nothing wrong with him, But there's something wrong with the Fu family, Leng Qingtian said in disgust. He is Fu Mingyuan, Fu Xiang's son. That shameless old man Fu Xiang is the prime minister, and he often instigates the emperor to marry his daughter Fu Mingzhu to our Leng family. But I refused, Leng Qingtian said disdainfully. So what if his daughter is the #1 beauty in Eastern Lagoon? That woman isn't worthy of my outstanding grandson. Fu Mingzhu? She seemed to have heard this name somewhere before. Oh, I remember. When I visited Big Brother at the academy, the woman I met seemed to be called this name. Shuer, when do you plan to go to the academy with Yichen? Leng Qingtian asked. He was quite satisfied with his future grandson-in-law, Yichen, so he was happy to create opportunities for them to get along. The day after tomorrow. Then Grandpa will get people to prepare. You won't be able to come home often after going to the academy. Grandpa will miss you, Leng Qingtian said reluctantly. But he also knew that his granddaughter didn't go to the academy to study. Grandpa, I can come back whenever I want, Leng Ruoxue said helplessly. No one would dare to stop her from going home. Then, why don't you stay at home every day? Leng Qingtian asked. Okay. Outside General Leng's mansion. Shuer, be careful on the road, Leng Qingtian reminded her worriedly. Grandpa, I'm not a child anymore, Leng Ruoxue said with amusement. She had Yi Chen and Lu Tao by her side, but her grandfather was still so worried. Grandpa, Big Brother, go back quickly. I'm leaving. Quill, let's go, Leng Ruoxue said to Quill. Quill was very fast, and they arrived at the Heavenly Phoenix Academy in about half an hour. Leng Ruoxue got Quill to enter the Heaven and Earth bracelet, and the three of them walked into the academy as if no one else was around. The Heavenly Phoenix Academy was indeed worthy of being one of the 3 major academies. Not only was it big, but it was also very imposing. The architecture of the buildings was beautiful and mighty. Excuse me, may I know how to get to the principal's office? Lu Tao stepped forward and asked a boy. Independent Illinois take you there, the ordinary-looking boy said with a blush and a racing heart. Heavens, this woman is so beautiful. He couldn't help sneaking glances at Leng Ruoxue. This is it, the boy leading the way stammered. Thank you. Lu Tao knocked on the door. Come in. Mississippi. Lu Tao, wait for us here. Leng Ruoxue opened the door and walked in with Yichen. Chapter 50, Savage Fox, 1, Ruoxue, you're here. Lin Liang was stunned for a moment when he saw them, but he quickly reacted. Grandpa Lin, we've come to report. Yes, just in time, Lin Liang said. Grandpa Lin, I will participate in this academy competition on behalf of my big brother. But you'd better pretend that you don't know what I want to do, Leng Ruoxue said bluntly. She didn't intend to hide what she wanted to do from the principal because she still needed his cooperation if necessary. I really don't know anything, Lin Liang said with a wry smile. This girl isn't afraid that it'll stop her at all and actually told me about it directly. But he wouldn't stop her even if he knew what she wanted to do. It was something he wanted to do but found inconvenient to do, so it was basically the same if this girl did it instead. Shuer thanks Grandpa Lin in advance. You don't have to be polite with me. I am Ruhen's master, but this is all I can do for Ruhen, Lin Liang said helplessly. Grandpa Lin, I want the names of those people, Leng Ruoxue said. It's all here. Lin Liang took out a piece of paper from his drawer and handed it to Leng Ruoxue. He had prepared everything. Leng Ruoxue took the piece of paper and glanced at it casually. Not only were their names, but he had also labeled their families and even their status in their families. Thank you, Grandpa Lin. Leng Ruoxue thanked Lin Liang sincerely. This list saved her a lot of time. Shuer, what are you thinking about? Yichen asked. Shuer had been silent since she obtained the name list. I'm thinking about my big brother. Is there still no news about the essence restoration grass? Yichen asked. In fact, he had been helping out, but he had no leads at all. No, but I'm not thinking about the essence restoration grass. Then what are you thinking about? I'm thinking that it's not a big deal even if some students were injured during the training exercise. Why should they blame Big Brother? Grandpa is very protective of his loved ones. What benefits will this bring to them? Leng Ruoxue said. In fact, she had been thinking about this for a long time, but she kept feeling that she seemed to have overlooked something. I'm not sure what benefits they will get, but I know that Principal Lin is in a very passive position because of it, Yichen said. Anyone with eyes could tell that this was absolutely the result of people adding fuel to the fire. Isn't it an overreaction even if this matter is aimed at the principal? Leng Ruoxue said after some thought. Grandpa Lin is a spiritual supremacy, so his position in the Heavenly Phoenix Academy isn't easily shaken. Moreover, Big Brother was the one who suffered the most in this incident. Why didn't I realize it sooner? Their main target is my grandpa. Grandpa Lin is just collateral damage, Leng Ruoxue said with certainty after thinking it through. What do you mean? This incident injured the #1 genius of the academy so severely. What do you think the consequences will be for the teachers leading the team? Moreover, this student is the grandson of General Leng and the disciple of the principal. What do you think they will do? Leng Ruoxue asked in return. The teachers were afraid that General Leng would seek revenge, so they naturally wanted to shrink responsibility. But as far as I know, those two teachers come from small families. But several of the students on that training exercise are nobles, and there was even a member of the imperial family. I'm afraid they don't have the ability to make all the students perjure themselves, Yichen analyzed. Just because they don't have the ability doesn't mean others don't, Leng Ruoxue said coldly. She had already vaguely guessed what was going on. The two of them walked on the academy plaza while chatting. Schwer, shall we go to the library to take a look? Yichen suggested. They didn't have to attend classes on time like other students here, and the people they were looking for weren't in the academy now. It was said that almost all of them were recuperating at home and would only return to the academy in a few days. Okay. She had always wanted to go to the library. They went directly to the top floor of the library with the access given to them through the academy's golden badges. The books on the top floor were the essence of the entire Heavenly Phoenix Academy. Not just anyone could enter this place, but they were not aware of the regulations here. After staying on the top floor of the library for a few days, Leng Ruoxue almost finished reading all the books here. There was really nothing else to read, so she left. Yichen left 2 days ago for some reason. Senior Brother Feng, I like you. Leng Ruoxue happened to hear a very gentle female voice when she passed by a small forest outside the library. She unintentionally looked up and found the woman somewhat familiar. Fu Mingzhu? Such a coincidence. I happened to be looking for her. She then looked at the man Fu Mingzhu confessed her love to. Yes, he was indeed handsome and extraordinary with a noble temperament. He should be slightly younger than her brother. Even though he was not as handsome as her brother, he was still a rare beauty. Seemingly aware that someone was looking at him, the man raised his head and happened to see Leng Ruoxue. He couldn't help being stunned, his eyes showing his amazement. Fu Mingzhu was the biggest suspect in causing her brother's injury because there were only 2 girls on the training team that day. One of them was called Mo Li, and the other was Fu Mingzhu. So one of them must have annoyed the Fire Rhinoceros group and even pushed the blame onto her brother. This Fu Mingzhu pestered her brother unceasingly before he was injured, annoying him quite a bit. But she immediately changed her target now that her brother was in trouble. Dream on. You want have your way. With this thought in mind, Leng Ruoxue walked straight over, her eyes full of ice. She had been in the academy for a few days but had yet to have the chance to exercise. Sensing something amiss with Feng Oren's gaze, Fu Mingzhu turned her head, only to see the damn woman she was jealous of and hated. Even though she had only seen this woman once, she remembered her appearance very clearly. Leng Ruoxue saw the jealousy and hatred in Fu Mingzhu's eyes and couldn't help finding it funny. People who didn't know better would think that they had a feud. Chapter 51. Savage Fox 2. It's you? That cripple isn't here anymore. What are you doing here? Not just anyone can come to this place, Fu Mingzhu said with jealousy. She didn't want to see this woman again for the rest of her life. Cripple? Are you talking about yourself? Leng Ruoxue mocked, her eyes ice cold. I'm talking about Leng Ruhan, our former genius senior brother. Everyone in all of Eastern Lagoon knows that he's already a cripple, Fu Mingzhu said disdainfully. If you dare to say another word about him, I won't let you go, Leng Ruoxue warned coldly. She wouldn't allow anyone to say that about her brother. Everyone in the Eastern Lagoon Empire knows that Lung Ruhan overestimated his capabilities and provoked flame rhinoceroses. Not only did he cause many students of the Heavenly Phoenix Academy to be injured, but he also made himself a cripple. This is all retribution. To think that I used to like him quite a bit. I didn't expect him to be so stupid. Fortunately, that's in the past. No one will like that cripple now, Fu Mingzhu continued to mock disapprovingly. This was Lung Ruhan's retribution for not liking her. She was the #1 beauty in Eastern Lagoon, but he had never given her a good attitude. She certainly wouldn't want to marry him now that he was a cripple. Only a peerless genius was worthy of her. Bam. Lung Ruoxue didn't say anything unnecessary. She directly raised her hand and slapped Fu Mingz's beautiful face. She didn't hold back at all. Half of Fu Mingz's face swelled up, and red liquid flowed out of the corner of her mouth. Why you bitch? How dare you hit me? Fu Mingzhu was stunned. Lung Ruoxue slapped Fu Mingzhu on the other side of the face, which swelled up immediately. Lung Ruoxue looked at her masterpiece with satisfaction. Not bad. Pretty symmetrical. Feng Oren, who had been standing on the side, was surprised. Then he looked away as if he hadn't seen anything. Beloved master, don't tire yourself out. Let your darling help you teach her a lesson. Darling's voice sounded in Lung Ruoxue's mind. Okay. Lung Ruoxue let Darling out. As soon as Darling came out, he immediately jumped into Lung Ruoxue's arms and rubbed against her coquettishly. Then he turned his cold silver eyes to Fu Mingzhu. What an ugly woman, Darling said disdainfully. He was a gentlemanly noble fox who didn't like to fight. But he was afraid that his beloved master would be tired, so he would take on the difficult task of becoming a savage fox. Darling's small body quickly jumped in front of Fu Mingzhu, who had been struck into a daze. He stretched out his sharp little claws and scratched her swollen face a few times quickly. Aha! An ear-piercing shriek instantly reverberated through the entire academy. Fu Mingz's shriek annoyed Darling, so he threw a large water ball at her, followed by some lightning. Fu Mingzhu immediately fainted from the interaction of water and lightning. What a smart fox! Feng Oren was stunned, and a drop of sweat rolled down his forehead. After finishing, Darling ran to the nearby pond to wash his little paws. Then he quickly jumped into the warm arms of his lovely master. His entire movements were as smooth and natural as flowing water. Lung Ruoxue was stunned. She looked at Fu Mingzhu, whose face was covered in blood. Darling is so cruel. Well done, nonetheless. Feng Oren stared at everything in front of him with his mouth agape. Those movements were a little too fast. In fact, everything happened in the blink of an eye, so he didn't even have the time to react. Seeing that Fu Mingzhu had fainted, Feng Oren grabbed Lung Ruoxue's hand. Quick, let's go. Why should I leave? Lung Ruoxue wasn't afraid of the Fu family. Fu Mingzhu was the biggest suspect in harming her brother. She would just treat it as collecting some interest first. Anyway, she didn't plan to let any of them go. The Fu family is not to be trifled with, Feng Oren reminded. I know. She had heard her grandfather talk about the Fu family's overbearingness. Then why aren't you leaving? Feng Oren said anxiously. He heard footsteps. Fu Mingz's scream just now definitely attracted attention. Let me tell you, if you don't leave now, you won't be able to leave when people come later. The Fu family won't let you go, and your little pet beast will also die, Feng Oren explained anxiously. He didn't want such a drop-dead beauty to be ruined by the Fu family. The Fu family had too many methods of torturing people. What's your name? Lung Ruoxue suddenly asked. She heard Fu Mingzhu calling him senior brother Feng. Feng Oren. This train of thought was a little too jumpy, but he still answered honestly. Do you know Feng Moran? Lung Ruoxue asked after some thought. He's my elder brother. Do you know him? Where is he now? Is he okay? Feng Oren asked several questions in a row. Which one do you want me to answer first? Lung Ruoxue was slightly amused. He's good. That's good. Elder brother has left home for more than a decade without any news. We even thought that he was already, Feng Oren said worriedly. What's going on? A female teacher of the academy rushed over after hearing the scream. She recognized Fu Mingzhu lying on the ground. Leng Ruoxue and Feng Oren looked at each other and ignored the female teacher. Feng Oren, what's going on? And who are you? Why haven't I seen you before? You aren't a student of our academy. The female teacher couldn't help but speak angrily when she saw no one paying attention to her. It's not up to you to decide whether I'm a student here or not. You can ask the principal where I'm from, Leng Ruoxue said indifferently. How can you talk to a teacher like this? The female teacher said indignantly. What's going? Two male teachers arrived. Fu Mingzhu was injured. They were the only two people here when I came. The female teacher in her 30s pointed at Feng Oren and Leng Ruoxue. I did it, Leng Ruoxue said directly, ignoring the look Feng Oren was giving her. Chapter 52. Be low profile when you beat someone up. Even if Leng Ruoxue didn't admit to it now, Fu Mingzhu would still say it after waking up. There was no need to go through all that trouble because she didn't care about the Fu family at all. Feng Oren opened his mouth to say something, but after seeing Leng Ruoxue's gaze, he obediently shut his mouth. Are you a student of the academy? One of the male teachers asked. Although he had his doubts, he was not as direct as the female teacher. Of course. Leng Ruoxue didn't deny it. Then do you know that the academy forbids students from fighting privately? The male teacher said solemnly. He was smarter than the female teacher, and he immediately brought up the academy as justification. We didn't fight, Leng Ruoxue said indifferently. How could Fu Mingzhu end up like this without a fight? The female teacher asked angrily. She humiliated my elder brother, so I just slapped her twice. As for how she ended up like this, I don't know either, Leng Ruoxue said lightly. Your elder brother? Who's your brother? The male teacher asked. Leng Ruhan. Leng Ruhan is your elder brother? The male teacher said in surprise. He knew that their academy's former #1 genius had a younger sister, but wasn't she a simpleton? How did this absolute beauty in front of him look like a simpleton? Feng Oren didn't expect that this stunning young lady was actually Leng Ruhan's younger sister. He had heard that Leng Ruhan's sister had already regained her mental faculties, but he didn't expect the former simpleton to be so astonishing. I won't allow anyone to humiliate my brother, no matter who it is. Leng Ruoxue shot an icy glare at the three teachers in warning. Isn't Leng Ruhan's younger sister a simpleton? The female teacher asked bluntly. I am that simpleton. But if I hear anyone else humiliate my brother, who knows who will become the real simpleton? Leng Ruoxue warned coldly before turning around to leave. Seeing that the person involved was leaving, Feng Oren also hurriedly left and followed behind. Master, mistress is so fierce, someone hiding in a corner said fearfully. Yes, she is. But I like it. Yichen glanced at his subordinate and said proudly before turning around and chasing after Leng Ruoxue. Schwer. Yichen caught up to Leng Ruoxue. Are you done? Leng Ruoxue really didn't think much of this fellow when he was by her side. But when he wasn't around, she actually felt a little uncomfortable. This wasn't a good sign. Done. And he had seen that good show when he just returned. Schwer, where are you going? I'm going to find the principal. I beat someone up, so I have to turn myself in. I'll go with you. Of course, when it came to such matters, her husband should be the one by her side. How could he let another man take advantage of this situation? He glared at the man beside Schwer. Hello, I am Feng Oren. Feng Oren politely greeted. This man is so good-looking. His appearance is even more outstanding than Leng Ruhan's. Hello, I am Yichen, Schwer's fiancé. Although he really didn't want to talk to him, he still introduced himself. He didn't want Schwer to think that he was petty. Fiancé? Feng Oren was a little surprised. He didn't expect that this beautiful man was actually the weak and sickly man of the Yi family. Ruoxue, why are you here? Lin Liang looked curiously at the three people who walked into his office. Shouldn't Ruoxue be in the library? I beat someone up, Leng Ruoxue said straightforwardly. Who? Lin Liang had a bad premonition. Did she cause trouble and is here to ask for my protection? Fu Mingzhu. Lass, no matter who you want to beat up, can't you keep a low profile? Lin Liang said helplessly. The Fu family was not to be trifled with. Even if she wanted to fight, She should have done it secretly. But looking at the situation now, she was most likely discovered. Hearing what the principal said, Feng Oren was at a loss for words. What do you mean by that? So you can beat people up as you please as long as you keep a low profile? Oh, is it? Grandpa Lin, I'm just here to tell you so that you can prepare yourself. Now, I'm going home. Leng Ruoxue turned around and left the principal's office. She didn't want to listen to this old man lecture her. This girl, Lin Liang, felt a little helpless. After interacting with her these past few days, he more or less understood Ruoxue's temper. This girl was much crazier than her grandfather and brother. Old man Leng and Ruhen basically still gave face to those they didn't like as long as they weren't provoked. But this girl behaved entirely as she pleased. You're back, Shuer. Leng Qing unhappily looked at his granddaughter as she jumped down from Quill's back. Although she said that she would go home every day, he hadn't seen her for a few days. Ooh, little liar. Grandpa, Shuer stayed in the library for the past few days and accidentally lost track of time, Leng Ruoxue explained. Seeing her grandfather's expression, she knew what he was thinking. Any gains? A little. That's good. Grandpa, is there any news about the essence restoration grass? Not yet. I've asked many alchemists, but none of them have heard of this herb, Leng Qingtian said worriedly. Grandpa, no need to be hurried. Take your time. We will find it eventually. Leng Ruoxue comforted. I'm going to see Big Brother. Oh yes, Grandpa, the Fu family might find trouble with you. Grandpa doesn't care about the Fu family. For what? Leng Qingtian was confused. Darling, and I hurt Fu Mingzhu, Leng Ruoxue said indifferently. Is she seriously injured? Leng Qingtian was slightly curious. It's not serious. It's just that her face was scratched by Darling. You call that not serious? Everyone knows that the Fu family's eldest young lady takes great care of and is most proud of her face. Leng Qingtian was speechless. Big Brother. Shuer, Yichen didn't return with you? Leng Ruhen asked curiously when he didn't see Yichen. He's back. He said he was tired and went back to his room to sleep, Leng Ruoxue explained. Chapter 53. The Academy's reaction. Big Brother's complexion looks better now. Leng Ruoxue sized him up. It seems Big Brother's mood has almost recovered. It's all thanks to these two little fellows accompanying me. Leng Ruhen pointed at the little silver wolf and little blaze lion sleeping soundly in his arms. He didn't have time to think about those unhappy things with these two cute little fellows sticking to him all day. They did a good job. Leng Ruoxue was satisfied. Big Brother, he'll bring you somewhere. Seeing him looking at her with some uncertainty, Leng Ruoxue smiled mysteriously and directly brought him into the Heaven and Earth bracelet. Shuer, where is this place? It's so beautiful. Leng Ruhen was surprised. How can there be such a beautiful place in this world? This space belongs to me. Big Brother, you can stay here if you want. Really? Leng Ruhen asked happily. This place was simply like a paradise on earth. As long as Big Brother likes it. Leng Ruoxue then told her brother the origin of this space. No wonder Grandpa let you go out alone without worry. His grandfather even hid it from him for Shuer's safety. But he understood his grandfather's way of doing things. He would also hide it from his grandfather if it were him. It was better for fewer people to know about such a heaven-defying place. Shuer, Grandpa is right. You are a very blessed person. Even I am basking in your good fortune now, Leng Ruhen said with slight pride. Shuer will bring Big Brother wherever she goes in the future. She wouldn't allow anyone to bully her brother. Silly girl. Leng Ruhen was very touched. The atmosphere in the conference room of the Heavenly Phoenix Academy was tense. Principal, Leng Ruoxue is a specially admitted student of yours. What should we do? We have to give the Fu family an explanation, Vice Principal Chen Jian of the Heavenly Phoenix Academy said aggressively. What kind of explanation do you want to give the Fu family? Lin Liang said indifferently. The Heavenly Phoenix Academy was basically divided into two factions now, his faction and Chen Jian's. Chen Jian had always been eyeing his position as the principal because he had the backing of the Su family. And it seemed that he was the one who orchestrated Ruhan's incident. Unfortunately, Lin Liang wasn't at the academy at that time. If not, he wouldn't have been caught between a rock and a hard place, causing his disciple to be wronged. It would be a lie to say that he didn't hate Qin Jian, but now was not the time to move against him. Of course, we should hand Leng Ruoxue over to the Fu family and let them deal with her, Qin Jian said matter-of-factly. Will you represent the academy in the competition if we hand her over to the Fu family? Lin Liang said mockingly. Principal, what do you mean? Leng Ruoxue will be representing the academy in this academy competition, and she will be the main force, Lin Liang said. What? Principal, Leng Ruoxue is a simpleton. How can you let a simpleton represent the academy? Do you want our Heavenly Phoenix Academy to become the laughingstock of the Ling Feng continent? It's not like we don't have people in the academy anymore. What qualifications does she have to represent the academy? Qin Jian roared angrily. She isn't qualified? Then who is qualified? Lin Liang retorted. Do you think I don't know what you're thinking? I didn't do anything to you before because I thought you were a clown, but now you're obviously threatening the foundation of the academy. Our academy is full of talents, but you let a simpleton be the main force. It will make the other students bitterly disappointed, Qin Jian said righteously. Yes, Principal. If we let a simpleton be the main force of our academy, the students won't be convinced, an elder said after receiving Qin Jian's gaze. Yes, Principal, please reconsider. Principal, this won't do. Are you the principal, or am I the principal? Are you doubting my vision? Lin Liang snorted in displeasure. The elders who were against the principal didn't dare to say anything else after hearing his tone. The principal might focus his efforts on cultivation and rarely interfered with the academy's affairs, but they were very afraid of him when he was angry. Principal, Leng Ruoxue injured a classmate. Even if we don't hand her over to the Fu family, we can't let such a violent student stay in the academy, or it will cause panic among the students. Many students have told me that they would leave the academy if Leng Ruoxue doesn't leave the academy. Qin Jian added fuel to the fire. Many? Like who? Are they trying to use public opinion to pressure me again? I promised not to reveal their identities, Qin Jian said. Either you tell me who said it, or I won't change my decision. Moreover, it takes two hands to clap. If you want to pursue Leng Ruoxue's responsibility, why don't you ask what Fu Mingzhu did first? In addition, if you want to hand Leng Ruoxue over to the Fu family for them to deal with, go and tell Leng Qingtian yourself. The academy will not interfere in this matter. Lin Liang stood up from his seat, glanced at them coldly, and turned to leave. Go and tell Leng Qingtian ourselves? Who would dare? Leng Qingtian almost ate them up last time. This time, they originally planned to get the principal to represent the academy. But the principal made it clear that he wouldn't bother with this matter, so there was nothing they could do. Your Majesty, please uphold justice for me, pleaded a chubby middle-aged man with a big belly as he knelt on the floor of the imperial study. My beloved minister, what is the meaning of this? The emperor asked in puzzlement. Your Majesty, someone injured my daughter. Please uphold justice for me. The academy refused to do anything, so he had to come to the emperor. You are the prime minister of the Eastern Lagoon Empire. How can someone be so blind as to bully your precious daughter? It's good enough if you don't bully others, the emperor added in his head. It's the simpleton of General Leng's family. She and her pet beast injured my daughter, Fu Xiang said with a face full of tears. Beloved minister, you know that she is a simpleton, so why are you still fussing over it with a simpleton? Upon hearing that it involved General Leng, the emperor didn't want to bother about this matter anymore. An accident happened to Leng Qingshan's grandson, and he became a cripple who couldn't cultivate spiritual power. That old man was in a bad mood, so who dared to provoke him now? Your Majesty, I heard that Simpleton has regained her mental faculties. She's even been specially admitted by Principal Lin into the Heavenly Phoenix Academy. Apparently, she is also going to be representing the academy in the academy competition 2 months later, Fu Xiang added quickly. Chapter 54. What qualifications does she have to be our leader? 1. Oh, I see. But now that she's a student of the Heavenly Phoenix Academy, it's even harder for me to intervene in this matter. My beloved minister, in my opinion, you should look for Principal Lin. I believe he will handle this matter impartially, The emperor suggested earnestly. Your Majesty. Ah, my dear minster, I am tired. Alas, I am getting old and my stamina is not as good as before. What he implied was that he wanted to rest. Stop bothering him if he knew what was good for him. I will take my leave then, Fu Xiang said unwillingly. But since the emperor didn't want to meddle in this matter, he couldn't force the emperor. He didn't have the guts. Your Majesty. Did he leave? Fu Xiang went to Consort Wan's palace, Eunuch Lu said. Eunuch Lu, have you figured out what happened? The emperor asked. He had already guessed that Fu Xiang would go to see Consort Wan, so he didn't find it surprising. Your Majesty, this servant has already inquired clearly. It was indeed General Lung's granddaughter who injured the young lady of the Fu family. But Eunuch Lu hesitated. Just say it. In fact, it wasn't entirely Lung Ruox's fault. Fu Mingzhu insulted Lung Ruhan first. Only then did Lung Ruoxue hit her. Why didn't Fu Mingzhu retaliate then? She couldn't have just allowed Lung Ruoxue to hit her, could she? With her temperament, she isn't someone who can be bullied, the emperor said. Fu Mingzhu was known for being unruly and bossy. This young lady of the Fu family has been pampered since she was a child. It is likely that no one has beaten her in her life, so she was stunned and didn't retaliate. After that, she was scratched in the face by Lung Ruox's pet and even attacked. This servant heard it was quite tragic, Eunuch Lu said. Scratched her face? Is she disfigured? The emperor was curious. They say she has claw marks all over her face, so she should be disfigured. Eunuch Lu guessed. Fu Xiang will not let this daughter be disfigured. He will get crystal honey for her, the emperor said. Fu Xiang was counting on selling this daughter for a good price. Crystal honey is priceless and has no market, Eunuch Lu said. Crystal honey was indeed a good thing. Not only could it increase spiritual power, but it could also beautify skin and heal damaged skin. But even if you had money, there was nowhere to buy it now. The Lung family has some, the emperor reminded. Lung Qingtan had robbed the Su family of 5 kilograms of crystal honey. Will the Lung family give any to them? Eunuch Lu couldn't help asking. It will depend on what Lung Qingtian wants. He will give it to them if he wants to let the matter rest and not blow up, the emperor analyzed. Your Majesty, Consort Wan requests an audience, a young eunuch reported. Tell Consort Wan that I won't see anyone now, the emperor said impatiently. Yes. Your Majesty, Consort Wan, Eunuch Lu hesitated. Consort Wan would definitely pester His Majesty to uphold justice for the Fu family since she was a member of the Fu family. Eunuch Lu, pass on my decree that Consort Wan is not allowed to see anyone in the palace without my permission, the emperor said unhappily. Yes. Eunuch Lu went to issue the edict after receiving it. Shuer, big brother, what's wrong? Is there something on your mind? Lung Ruoxu asked. Shuer, Fu Mingyuan came just now, Lung Ruhen said after some hesitation. What was he doing here? Lung Ruoxue hated any mention of the Fu family. He came to me for crystal honey. Did you give any to him? No. How could I give something that Shuer gave me to someone else? I told him that I didn't have any, Lung Ruhen quickly said. He didn't want Shuer to misunderstand. But Shuer and that fox are really cruel. Mingyuan said that sister would be disfigured if there was no crystal honey. Big brother, I won't allow you to be an overly good Samaritan. Otherwise, Shuer will ignore you, Lung Ruoxue warned. I won't, Lung Ruhen said. He wasn't as good as Shuer thought. Moreover, Shuer did it for him. That's more like it. Shuer, did anyone in the academy bully you? Lung Ruhen asked worriedly. If those people knew her identity, they would probably look down on her. It didn't matter if he suffered a little, but he didn't want to see Shuer wronged. Big brother, am I someone easy to bully? Lung Ruoxue asked mischievously. She had been staying in the library for the past few days and hadn't seen many people. It's okay if big brother suffers a little, but I won't allow anyone to bully my baby sister. Lung Ruhen caressed Shuer's head lovingly. Yes. Lung Ruoxue nodded vigorously. Lung Ruoxue and Yichen? As soon as Lung Ruoxue and Yichen entered the academy, a short and chubby old man stopped them. Yes. Lung Ruoxue and Yichen looked at each other doubtfully. I am Elder Qiu, the person in charge of the academy's sacred hall. The principal asked me to bring you two to the sacred hall to study, Elder Chiu said very cordially with a beaming smile. The principal said that these two people were not to be trifled with. Moreover, they were the main force in the academy competition, so they had to be treated seriously. Thus, after asking around about the time they would arrive at the academy, he came to the entrance to wait for them. Thank you, Elder Chiu. Lung Ruoxue had a good impression of this chubby Elder Chiu. Since Grandpa Lin sent him, he should be Grandpa Lin's trusted aide. The Heavenly Phoenix Academy's Sacred Hall was the dream of every student of the academy. However, the minimum threshold for entering the Sacred Hall was Spiritual Monarch, and only students who had advanced to Spiritual Monarch before the age of 25 were qualified to enter. So even if the students in the Sacred Hall were not all geniuses, they were at least elites specially nurtured by prominent families, and they would absolutely have boundless prospects in the future. Lung Ruoxue and Yichen followed Elder Chiu to the famous Sacred Hall. The Sacred Hall was a small two-story standalone building with a dazzling and luxurious exterior. Inside, the entire ground was paved with spirit jade. The surrounding stone pillars were inlaid with spirit crystals of various colors, and the decorations on the walls were very exquisite. It was obvious that the Sacred Hall had been constructed with great care and extravagance. Elder Chiu pushed open the door of a training room and brought Lung Ruoxue and Lung Ruoxue in. The training room was very spacious, and there were about 20 people inside, cultivating or fighting with each other. After seeing the two of them enter, they stopped what they were doing. Some were stunned, some were surprised, and all sorts of gaze were on them. Chapter 55. What qualifications does she have to be our leader? 2. I will introduce you to two new classmates, Lung Ruoxue and Yichen. Lung Ruoxue will be your leader from now on, Elder Chiu said. What? She's Lung Ruoxue? Isn't she a simpleton? Lung Ruoxue is even more beautiful than Su Neier. As soon as Elder Chiu finished speaking, all sorts of discussions broke out. Elder Chiu, what qualifications does she have to be our leader? A sweet-looking girl directly questioned with displeasure. This is the Academy's decision. How can the Academy arbitrarily decide on who the leader is? Sun Ting said with dissatisfaction. When the Academy let Lung Ruhan be the leader, she didn't dare to object. After all, Lung Ruhan was the strongest person in the Academy, and he was well respected by everyone. But why should a simpleton be their leader? Are you doubting the Academy's decision? Do you doubt the vision of our Academy? Elder Chiu said unpleasantly. Before coming, he had guessed that these prodigies would most likely be dissatisfied with Lung Ruoxue suddenly becoming their leader. But he didn't expect them to make things difficult for her in front of him. Moreover, he didn't expect the one to make things difficult would be Sun Ting, who usually looked very well behaved. Besides, the most difficult person and most likely to make things difficult in the Sacred Hall wasn't here today. He didn't expect such a thing to happen, and he couldn't help but feel embarrassed. Elder Chiu, don't you still have something to do? Don't worry about us. Lung Ruoxue gave Elder Chiu an out. Yes, I have something else to do. Then he'll be heading off first. I'll leave this place to you guys, Elder Chiu said tactfully. He knew that Lung Ruoxue was going to teach these arrogant and snobbish prodigies a lesson. Alas, the principal has a good eye. Lung Ruoxue's aura is even more terrifying than her brother's. You said him not qualified to be your leader? Who is qualified then? Lung Ruoxue said coldly after Elder Chiu left. Of course not me. Senior brother Feng, senior sister Su, senior sister Qin, senior brother Li, senior brother Qiao, and senior brother Fu of our Sacred Hall are all more qualified than you. Sun Ting said the names of several people in a row with a face full of adoration. Unfortunately, your leader is now me, not anyone that you mentioned. And you should know the rules of the Sacred Hall. Lung Ruoxue was really unwilling to stoop to the level of such a small fry, so she brought up the rules of the Sacred Hall. She had been in the academy for several days, and the reason Grandpa Lin didn't arrange for her to appear in the Sacred Hall first was to let her familiarize herself with the environment of the academy. Sun Ting hesitated. One of the rules of the Sacred Hall was to respect your superiors, but she didn't consider her their leader at all. So she didn't care about the rules. Whether you accept it or not, I am your leader. How dare you question the Academy's decision? Aren't you offending your superiors? Lung Ruoxue rebuked coldly. In fact, no one had any objections previously when the Academy appointed leaders because they had always been recognized as the #1 genius in the Academy. But if you weren't the #1 genius who could convince the masses, then some people would feel unbalanced and might even resort to despicable means in secret. In order to prevent such things from happening, the Academy had specially set a rule. If you questioned the choice of leader, every student of the Sacred Hall had the right to challenge the leader. If you won the challenge, then you would become the leader of the Sacred Hall. This was also a half-appointed and half-democratic way of doing things to convince everyone. If you think that I don't have the capability to be the leader, you can challenge me openly. If you don't have the guts to do so, then shut your mouth. Otherwise, I don't mind expelling you from the Sacred Hall, Lung Ruoxue warned. She might think highly of Sun Ting if she had challenged her directly, but her pure provocation made her not even qualified to be her opponent. How dare you? You are just a simpleton. Sun Ting said angrily. She didn't believe that this simpleton would really dare to expel her from the Sacred Hall. Although the Sun family wasn't comparable to top families like the Feng family and the Su family, they still had considerable power. So Sun Ting wasn't afraid of this simpleton's threat. I hereby announce with my position as the leader that Sun Ting has offended her superior and disrespected the leader. From today onward, she will be expelled from the Sacred Hall, Lung Ruoxue announced loudly. It seemed she had to make an example of her. As soon as Lung Ruoxue finished speaking, Yichen cooperatively threw Sun Ting out the window without any pity for the fairer sex. Everyone present in the training room widened their eyes in disbelief and looked at the two of them in horror. Damn, these two people are really courageous. Too terrifying. This Lung Ruoxue actually dared to offend the Sun family, and that man actually threw Sun Ting out the window. Fortunately, the Sacred Hall was only 2 floors. Otherwise, Sun Ting would have fallen to her death. Now, tell me, who else wants to leave the Sacred Hall? Lung Ruoxue said nonchalantly. No one else dared to speak anymore. Leave the Sacred Hall? Would they still be nurtured by their families in the future? The reason they valued the Sacred Hall so much was that they would have the best treatment and would also have an influential position in their families in the future. The Sacred Hall was not only a symbol of strength but also meant a network of future personal connections. Since no one has any objections, then cultivate diligently. You must remember that you are not cultivating for me. Don't make life miserable for your future. That is the most foolish behavior, Lung Ruoxue warned. Whether they could understand or not, whether they would be instigated by others or not, was something beyond her control. Looks like the principal's efforts were not in vain, Yichen whispered in Schwer's ear with a gentle smile. Taking advantage of the absence of the superior students, Schwer subdued this group of timid students without a firm position. This move was indeed good. Unfortunately, he knew that Schwer didn't take those people seriously at all. That old man just likes to act smart and let me clean it up all at once to save trouble, Lung Ruoxue complained. Schwer, what do you intend to do with those fellows? Yichen asked curiously. Chapter 56. Thrown out, what can I do? Create hell for them, of course. After seeing that the students of the Sacred Hall were training in peace, Lung Ruoxue and Yichen left the Sacred Hall and returned to the Lung residence. Master. Mississippi. Mississippi. Deputy Leader Yi. As Lung Ruoxue got down from Quill's back, a small, white fluffy ball jumped into her arms and stayed still there. Master, I missed you so much. Boo-hoo, Charm's purple eyes looked at Lung Ruoxue with tears in them. Charm, you're back. Lung Ruoxue caressed Charm's soft and fluffy fur and then looked at Feng De and the others around her. Big brother Feng. Schwer. Feng Moran looked at Lung Ruoxue and smiled gently. They originally wanted to train in the illusionary forest for some time, but after staying for a few days, they realized that they were all a little absent-minded. They didn't have the mood to stay there, so they returned together. Miss, Deputy Leader Yi, we missed you to death. Feng De and the others said. We missed you too, Yichen said. Schwer, why are you back so early today? Lung Qingtian asked. His granddaughter had really grown up, and she had managed to recruit so many outstanding subordinates. I missed Grandpa. Lung Ruoxue coaxed flatteringly. You have a glib tongue, Lung Qingtian said happily. Grandpa, they are the members of our Blazing Flame mercenary group that I told you about, Lung Ruoxue said proudly. Yes, Grandpa knows. He had been chatting with these people for a long time. Swear, Grandpa has already arranged their lodging. You don't have to worry about it, Lung Qingtian said. Thank you, Grandpa. Foolish lass, do you need to thank Grandpa? Lung Qingtian deliberately said unpleasantly with a stern face. Let's not talk about it then. I will cook Grandpa's favorite dishes tonight. That's more like it. Make more. There won't be enough for Grandpa, Lung Qingtian said quickly. It wasn't easy to get his granddaughter to cook. At night, there was a fire in the garden, and a group of people was sitting around it, each holding something to grill. Swear, is this what we're having for dinner? Didn't you say you were going to make Grandpa's favorite dishes? Lung Qingdan complained to his precious granddaughter with a bitter face when he saw that everyone was grilling and that there were no dishes available. Grandpa, this is what we will eat tonight. Of course, this is only part of it. There's also something you've never eaten before, Lung Ruoxue said mysteriously. She had already prepared and would surely surprise them. Never eaten before? What is it? Everyone looked at Lung Ruoxue curiously. You'll know when the time comes. After a while, some servants brought over a few tables one by one and placed them side by side. Then the servants brought over a few things that looked like pots, but they had never seen this type of pot before. Moreover, the fragrance was really too alluring. Swear, what is this? Lung Qingtian asked curiously. Grandpa, this is called hot pot, Lung Ruoxue said. She had specially refined a few pots for hot pot a few days ago to satisfy her craving. How could this world not have hot pot? However, if people knew that she used artificing techniques to refine pots for meals, they might faint from anger. But this art of artificing was really too useful. The hot pot she refined didn't require electricity or coal, and just a fire attribute spiritual crystal was enough to settle everything. Miss, how do we use this thing? Fengde asked anxiously. It smelled good, but there was only soup inside when he opened it. Could she only be providing them soup to drink? Don't worry. They'll teach you how to eat in a bit. Lung Ruoxue said helplessly. Why are all the people I know gluttons? The servants brought over cleaned vegetables and sliced meat one by one and placed them on the table. Bring the grilled meat over, Lung Ruoxue said and motioned for them to sit down. Then she picked up a thin slice of raw beast meat and rinsed it in the hot pot a few times, then immediately picked it up and put it in her mouth. See? Eat it like this. Cook it on the spicy side if you like spicy food. If you can't eat spicy food, put it in the clear soup and then dip it in sauce to eat, Lung Ruoxue explained. Everyone waited for her to finish speaking before imitating her eagerly. I'm so full, Fengde said contentedly. Alas, life is so beautiful. Swear, why didn't you let Grandpa taste something so delicious before? Lung Qingtian said with some dissatisfaction. It was his first time eating something so delicious. Grandpa, I just refined these pots a few days ago, Lung Ruoxue explained. She also wanted to eat it, but it wasn't like there was any available. Refine? You mean these pots are sacred artifacts? What? These pots are actually sacred artifacts? Lung Qingshan's eyes widened in disbelief. How can Shuer be so extravagant? Sacred artifacts. Sacred artifacts. Sacred artifacts that would make everyone green with envy. Sacred artifacts that everyone aspired to possess were actually being used for meals by them. Although everyone was speechless, they were already used to Lung Ruoxue shocking them, so they weren't surprised. I didn't do it on purpose, Lung Ruoxue said aggrievedly. She wanted to refine treasured artifacts, but she couldn't. They accidentally became sacred artifacts. Shuer is such a little monster, Lung Ruhan said seriously while rubbing his sister's head. Fortunately, Shuer is my sister, or else even I would be jealous. We're used to it, Yichen said calmly. Yes, Feng Moran agreed. Big brother Feng, do you want to go home and take a look? Lung Ruoxue suddenly asked. Go home? Not yet, Feng Moran said indifferently. He had left home for many years and had never returned. Perhaps everyone in the family thought he was dead. Big Brother Feng, I met Feng Oren at the academy, and he asked about you, Lung Ruoshua said. Since Big Brother Feng returned to Phoenix City, it was inevitable for him to meet people from the Feng family. She didn't know why Big Brother Feng was unwilling to go home, but she needed him to be mentally prepared. Escaping wouldn't solve any problem. Chapter 57. Feng Moran's past. Oren, is he okay? Feng Moran couldn't help asking. Oren was still very young when he left home. In the blink of an eye, he was already an adult. Very good. He's now a student of the Heavenly Phoenix Academy's Sacred Hall, Lung Ruoshua said. Feng Aoran's status in the Heavenly Phoenix Academy is second only to mine. I heard that he's highly regarded in the Feng family. That's good. Feng Aoran was his only brother, so he was relieved to hear that he was doing well. As for the Feng family, everyone should rest early today, Lung Ruoshua said, seeing that everyone was almost done eating. Big Brother Feng, why aren't you sleeping yet? It's already very late. Lung Ruoshua looked at Feng Moran, who was standing in the garden in a daze. I couldn't sleep. Something on your mind? Tell me if there's anything unhappy. Don't keep it to yourself, Lung Ruoshua said. Swear, it's been more than a decade since I left the Feng family. Aoran was only 5 years old when I left. I didn't expect him to still remember me, his elder brother, Feng Moran said with some emotion. Swear, do you know why I left the Feng family back then? Feng Moran suddenly asked. Why? Lung Ruoshua asked cooperatively. In fact, even if Big Brother Feng didn't say it, she could more or less guess the reason. After my spiritual power awakened, I took the aptitude test and found that my aptitude was very low. My life changed from then on. The once favored eldest son of the main branch suddenly became trash in everyone's eyes. Those people who were once jealous of me being favored started to hit me when I was down, finding opportunities to bully me and frame me. I left home after being framed time and time again, Feng Moran said indifferently, as if he was talking about someone else. Back then, when his test results came out, his mother even comforted him by telling him that it was okay. He was the eldest son of the main branch of the Feng family, and the family would give him a spiritual essence pill when he grew up. At that time, he thought so very naively as well. But his parents slowly began to neglect him as he grew older and his younger brother was born. He knew then that his mother was only comforting him. With his aptitude, he didn't qualify to obtain a spiritual essence pill, even if he was the eldest son of the main branch of the Feng family. The one thing that a prominent family like the Feng family was not lacking in was descendants, so he was really nothing. But he was well aware that with his current strength, he would definitely be treated as an heir as long as he returned to the family. Nonetheless, he didn't want to go back. He wanted to follow and stay with Schwer, not only because Schwer was the benefactor who changed his destiny but also because he only felt at home when he was by her side. In fact, even though he had left his home, he had not left the family. He was still a member of the Feng family now. If the Feng family encountered any difficulties and needed him, he would still return. But if the Feng family became enemies with Schwer, then he would stand on her side without hesitation because no one was more important to him now than Schwer. Lung Ruoshua listened patiently as Feng Moran recounted his past. She didn't disturb him because she knew very well that what Big Brother Feng needed was a listener. Do you know how much I envy you now? Even though you were once a simpleton, your grandfather and elder brother loved you like a treasure. Your status in your family is higher than even that of those stunning geniuses, Feng Moran said with envy. To put it bluntly, those geniuses were just powerful pawns of their families. They needed to work hard to obtain their status, but Schwer was loved without needing to do anything. Grandpa and Big Brother are also the most important to me, Lung Ruoshua said. She would absolutely protect this familial affection that hadn't come easily. She would kill whoever stood in her way. Big Brother Feng, how did you know about me since you left home at such a young age? Lung Ruoshua asked in puzzlement. When Big Brother Feng left home, I probably wasn't even born yet. Although I haven't been home for more than a decade, it doesn't mean that I don't know anything. Mercenary news is sometimes very useful. Moreover, I've been to Phoenix City a few times during missions, so I've naturally heard of the name of Lung Ruoshua. You should be the most famous after me, Feng Moran teased. He felt much more relaxed after opening up to Shuer. Feng Moran's words made Leng Ruoxue a little depressed, but she was relieved to see that he had adjusted his mood. Big brother Feng, rest early, Leng Ruoxue said. Okay. Leng Ruoxue and Yi Chen walked into the training room and saw a group of people gathered together and talking about something. As soon as they saw the two come in, they stopped talking and just looked at them strangely. Leng Ruoxue and Yi Chen exchanged glances before turning to look at them. Don't you know that the selection competition is about to begin? Why are you all standing there? Leng Ruoxue said with some displeasure. You aren't qualified to be our leader, a beautiful and sexy woman said with a face full of jealousy. She had heard that the simpleton Leng Ruoxue was a stunning beauty the moment she returned. Seeing her in the flesh, she realized that the simpleton was even more beautiful than she had imagined. Moreover, how could such an outstanding man stand beside a simpleton? Seeing the two of them standing together like a well-matched couple ignited the flames of jealousy in her heart. Only such an outstanding man was worthy of her, and only she was worthy of such an outstanding man. Who are you? Leng Ruoxue had been in the sacred hall for a few days, but she had never seen this woman. But she could vaguely guess her identity. I am Chen Feng, a student of the sacred hall, Chen Feng said proudly. Oh, so you are Chen Feng? Leng Ruoxue said as realization dawned on her face. Her brother had specially told her that there were a few people in the sacred hall who were more prestigious in the eyes of the students, and this included Chen Feng. She was the granddaughter of the vice principal. Moreover, this Chen Feng seemed to have good aptitude. She was an intermediate spiritual monarch. It seemed that the more difficult students to deal with had returned early. Our sacred hall doesn't welcome you. Our leader can't be a simpleton, so you'd better take the initiative to leave our sacred hall, lest you embarrass yourself later, Chen Feng reminded kindly. Chapter 58. All of you can withdraw then what? Aren't you going to challenge me? And you want me to voluntarily withdraw? Leng Ruoxue asked. You're not qualified to accept my challenge. You'd better know your place and take the initiative to withdraw from the sacred hall. This isn't a place a simpleton can come. Chen Feng said disdainfully. Voluntarily withdraw? What if I refuse? Leng Ruoxue looked at Chen Feng with a smile that was not a smile. Then we will withdraw from the sacred hall. Chen Feng used her trump card. They had already discussed this beforehand. Can you tell me who the people included in your we are? Leng Ruoxue asked curiously. All of us, of course. There are a total of 48 students in the sacred hall. If you don't withdraw, then we will, Chen Feng threatened. Are you sure you can represent all of them? Leng Ruoxue looked around at everyone present. There were about 30 people present now, which meant that there were still people not here. Of course. Chen Feng was still confident. All right, all of you can withdraw then. Leng Ruoxue said indifferently, her tone as relaxed as if she was saying today's weather is good. What did you say? Chen Feng asked. Did I hear wrongly? Everyone looked at Leng Ruoxue in disbelief. I said all of you can withdraw. Leng Ruoxue repeated. If they wanted to threaten her, they had to find her weakness even. A mere sacred hall was nothing to her. You will regret it. Chen Feng said angrily as she slammed the door after her. Why aren't you leaving yet? You are no longer students of the sacred hall. According to the rules of the sacred hall, you are not qualified to stay here, Leng Ruoxue said in a businesslike tone. I didn't say I was withdrawing from the sacred hall. Feng Oren pushed the door open and walked in. I didn't say I was withdrawing either. A cold voice sounded from outside the door, and then a handsome young man in black walked in. Are you done watching the show? Leng Ruoxue glanced at Feng Oren. Hee. Feng Oren scratched his head awkwardly and smiled shyly. He just wanted to see how she would handle this matter. He didn't really want to see her make a fool of herself. Leng Ruoxue turned her gaze to the man who entered later. He was a very cool-looking man in his early 20s. His temperament was a little cold, as though the words "keep away from me" were written on him. Such a cold man was indeed not someone who could be manipulated at will. Qiao Hua, the man introduced himself. Leng Ruoxue, I am Yi Chen, Shuer's fiancé, Yichen introduced himself. Do you really not intend to withdraw? Leng Ruoxue asked indifferently. She believed that Chen Fang must have contacted all the students in the sacred hall to threaten her and pressure the academy at the same time. The students who didn't appear today were probably some of the masterminds. I don't care who becomes the leader. What I care about is the academy competition in 2 months, Xiaohua said. He had to qualify for the academy competition 2 months later. We're considered friends, right? Of course, I have to support you, Feng Oren said. Thank you. Leng Ruoxue smiled. What are you still doing here? Leng Ruoxue said a little unpleasantly as she turned her head to look at the people who were still not moving. Don't regret what you've decided. You have to bear the consequences yourself no matter what. There is no medicine for regret in this world. Some of them were really regretting their decision. This was not what senior sister Chin told them would happen. She just wanted them to support her and put on an act so that she could chase Leng Ruoxue away. That was why she threatened her with a total withdrawal. But they didn't expect Leng Ruoxue not to be threatened at all. She even allowed them all to withdraw. How could they withdraw just like that? They wouldn't be able to explain themselves when they returned to their families. Leader. Some of them looked at Leng Ruoxue pitifully. Hurry up and pack up and leave. Otherwise, you'll have to get someone to ask you to leave, Leng Ruoxue said without any emotion. What were you doing earlier? It's too late to regret now. Senior brother Feng, help us tell the leader that we really don't want to leave. Senior sister Chen forced us. Some people quickly betrayed Chen Fang just to stay in the sacred hall. Although Feng Oren had only known Leng Ruoxue for a few days, he knew that she wasn't so easy to talk to. She didn't even leave any face for the principal, let alone him, so he just pretended not to hear the plea. In fact, he hated flip-floppers too. I'm going to see the principal. I hope I won't see you when I return. Otherwise, don't blame me for being nasty, Leng Ruoxue said coldly and left the sacred hall. Ruoxue, why are you here? I heard from Elder Chiu that you arranged training, didn't you? Lin Liang said in surprise when he saw Leng Ruoxue. There's no more training. All of the students of the sacred hall have withdrawn, Leng Ruoxue said indifferently. What? Lin Liang thought he had misheard. Who withdrew? All of the students of the sacred hall have withdrawn. No, there are 2 who haven't. Including Yi Chen and me, there are only 4 students in the sacred hall now, Leng Ruoxue explained. What happened? Lin Liang asked while suppressing the anger in his heart. He was not stupid. He immediately knew that someone was definitely stirring up trouble. Someone named Chen Fang said that I should withdraw from the sacred hall on my own accord. Otherwise, all of them would withdraw. Of course, I wouldn't leave the sacred hall, so I told all of them to leave, Leng Ruoxue explained simply. Well done. But what about the selection competition in the academy in a few days? Lin Liang said worriedly. Each academy had a quota of 30 spiritualists for the academy competition, but there were only 4 students in the sacred hall now. Even if all 4 of them went, there wouldn't be enough people. They wouldn't even reach the minimum number for the team competition. Grandpa Lin, give me 16 special admission spots. Leng Ruoxue said. In fact, she had long planned to get her subordinates into the Heavenly Phoenix Academy as her helpers. Therefore, she couldn't ask for more when Chen Fang threatened her. Otherwise, she really didn't know what sort of reason she could use with this old man. Chapter 59. Give me 16 special admission spots. 16? Do you think special admission spots are like cabbages in a market? There has to be a reason. Lin Liang said with a slight headache. For example? There must be something special. Then what reason did Grandpa Lin use to give me a special admission spot? Leng Ruoxue asked curiously. You are a spiritual monarch, a 15-year-old spiritual monarch, Lin Liang said. What if all 16 of them are at least spiritual monarchs? Leng Ruoxue probed. All spiritual monarchs? Where did you get so many spiritual monarchs? If they're all spiritual monarchs, there will definitely be no problem, but only if they're under 30 years old, Lin Liang said. If someone could advance to spiritual monarch before 30 years old, they would be considered a top talent even in top families. Not only would the families focus on nurturing such talents, but they would also be welcomed by the major academies. Then Grandpa Lin, please help me with the special admissions procedures. These 16 people are all spiritual monarchs, Leng Ruoxue said. Really? There are really 16 spiritual monarchs, Lin Liang said in disbelief. Of course. Wait for me. Lin Liang finished the admission procedures as quickly as possible. Principal, you have to give us an explanation for this. What right does Leng Ruoxue have to chase the students out of the sacred hall? Chen Jian barged into the principal's office and roared furiously. She was the one who chased them out? Why did I hear that the students requested to withdraw themselves? Lin Liang said. With the 16 spiritual monarchs Ruoxue mentioned, he was much more confident. He greatly admired that little girl from the bottom of his heart. That girl was much more daring and ruthless than him. Alas, I'm really old. But she can't really let those students withdraw. They are all spiritual monarchs, the best students in our academy and the face of our Heavenly Phoenix Academy. If the Rising Dragon Academy and the Moon Shadow Academy know about this, who knows how they will laugh at our academy? Chen Jian roared. So you want Ruoxue to withdraw? Lin Liang asked lightly. She can solve this problem by withdrawing by herself, so of course she has to consider the overall situation. This is also for the good of our academy. Chen Jian said as if it was obvious, not thinking that his reason was excessive at all. Do you want me to leave the academy as well and give you the position of principal? Lin Liang said with a spurious smile. Of course, how could that be possible? You're the principal. Chen Jian was shocked. Fortunately, he reacted quickly enough. He had almost said what was on his mind just now. It was impossible to become the vice principal without a brain. While he had wanted to be the principal for a long time, he knew that his ability wasn't enough to convince the masses. Moreover, it wouldn't do if they didn't have a spiritual supremacy in their midst as one of the 3 major academies. Therefore, before he had absolute confidence, he could only add some tension for the principal whenever he was free. You actually know that I'm the principal? How dare you question me then? This matter was planned by your precious granddaughter. Did you discuss it beforehand? Lin Liang asked coldly. He used to focus on cultivation and almost didn't care about the academy's affairs. For many things, he could turn a blind eye as long as they didn't cross his bottom line. But since Ruhan's incident, these troublesome matters had obviously crossed his bottom line. Did they really think I will continue to tolerate them? How is that possible? Fanger has always been very prestigious among the students. You know this to be true, principal. They didn't like Leng Ruoxue as their leader, so they looked for Fanger. Fanger had no choice but to do this for the sake of the academy's reputation. Chen Jian wiped the cold sweat off his forehead. He had told Fanger to find someone else to do it, but the students of similar status as Fanger had made all sorts of excuses. Finding someone without much prestige wouldn't achieve the effect they wanted, so Chen Fang had no choice but to be the representative in the end. But things still didn't go according to their plans and even went out of their control. Then what is your job as a grandfather? You're also the vice principal of the academy. Are you going to let your granddaughter do whatever she wants and destroy the academy's reputation? Lin Liang questioned. I didn't know about it beforehand, Chen Jian denied. Regardless of whether you knew about it or not, since this matter has already happened, there is no room for negotiation. I will leave those students who voluntarily requested to withdraw from the sacred hall to you. I will not interfere in this matter. Lin Liang said. Taking the initiative to withdraw from the sacred hall indicated wanting to leave the academy. Moreover, this matter was started by Chen Fang. It was imaginable how great the impact this matter had on this grandfather and granddaughter. He would rather sacrifice a little reputation than to tolerate them. Principal, Chen Jian didn't expect Lin Liang to be unwilling to care. Doesn't he care about the academy's reputation the most? Why is he? Shuer, are you okay? Feng Moran couldn't help asking worriedly when he saw Leng Ruoxue return. The news that the students of the Heavenly Phoenix Academy's Sacred Hall had collectively requested to withdraw from the Sacred Hall had already spread throughout Phoenix City. What could happen to me? Leng Ruoxue was puzzled. It should be Chen Fang and her vice principal grandfather who were in trouble. Deputy Leader Feng, I told you long ago that our young lady is strong-minded. This small matter is nothing, Feng De said with a smile. In his heart, his young lady could solve anything, even if it were as big as the sky. Well said. Here, this is your reward. Leng Ruoxue threw Feng De a golden badge. What is this? It's pretty heavy. Is it made of gold? Feng De asked, being the money grubber he was. That is the badge of a Heavenly Phoenix Academy student. From now on, you are a student of the Academy, Leng Ruoxue explained. What? How is this possible? The Heavenly Phoenix Academy was one of the 3 major academies on the Ling Feng continent. It was a holy land that countless people dreamed of. He didn't even dare to think about it. Why not? Why would I lie to you? Leng Ruoxue pretended to be displeased. Hee, how could Miss lie to me? Feng De said with a grin. Anybody else would have reasons to lie to him, but the young lady had nothing to lie to him about. Chapter 60. Are you also an alchemist? 1. Miss, am I really a student of the Heavenly Phoenix Academy now? Feng De asked in disbelief. Of course. Not only you, but all of you are as well. Leng Ruoxue looked at the others, who were looking at Feng De with envy, and then gave a badge to each of them. Big brother Feng, this is yours, Leng Ruoxue said. Me too. Of course. You are part of the main force of the Academy competition in 2 months. Leng Ruoxue said. She had to get first place in this Academy competition, not for the Heavenly Phoenix Academy but for her brother. May I talk to you? Fu Mingyuan stopped Leng Ruoxue and the others as soon as they entered the academy. Leng Ruoxue was speechless. Why do people like to lie in wait for me by blocking the door so much? I don't think I know you? Leng Ruoxue said indifferently. Meeting only once doesn't mean we know each other, right? I am Fu Mingyuan, Fu Ming's elder brother. Oh, what's the matter? Leng Ruoxue asked. I want to make a deal with you. Could we talk in private? Fu Mingyuan asked. Of course not. But what deal? Tell me about it. Leng Ruoxue glanced at Yi Qin and the others. I can choose not to withdraw from the sacred hall, but I have a request. Fu Mingyuan said. What request? I want crystal honey, Fu Mingyuan said. The Fu family had asked many people and visited many auction houses and businesses, but they couldn't find any. However, he believed that Leng Ruoxue would definitely have some. Do you think I will give any to you? The incident of everyone withdrawing from the sacred hall has become a very big matter now. Many influential families are displeased with you, and you have almost aroused public anger. So there will only be benefits for you if I'm willing to stay. Please consider it. Fu Mingyuan said matter-of-factly. I'm sorry. You think too highly of yourself. I don't care about a few clowns. As for the crystal honey, I don't have any, Leng Ruoxue said indifferently. Who will regret it? Fu Mingyuan left after saying this. Ruoxue, they are... Lin Liang couldn't help asking as he looked at the 16 people standing in front of him. They are the people I mentioned. 15 spiritual monarchs and 1 intermediate spiritual sovereign, Leng Ruoxue said. She specially brought them to the principal's office to let Grandpa Lin take a look so that he could feel at ease. Good. But Ruoxue, this isn't enough people. There are 30 spots for the academy competition. Lin Liang said. If there weren't enough people, they wouldn't be able to participate in the team competition, which would affect the final total score. Grandpa Lin, please issue an announcement. I want to arrange a test. All great spiritualists are eligible to participate. I will select 30 great spiritualists to join the Sacred Hall. Great spiritualists joining the Sacred Hall. No, great spiritualists aren't qualified to join the Sacred Hall, Lin Liang said. Since the establishment of the Heavenly Phoenix Academy, there had been no precedent for a great spiritualist to join the Sacred Hall. Moreover, their academy wouldn't be able to hold its head high in front of the other major academies, the Rising Dragon Academy and the Lunar Shadow Academy, if he agreed to let great spiritualists join the Sacred Hall. What if I can make them advance to Spiritual Monarch? Leng Ruoxue also knew that letting great spiritualists join the Sacred Hall would affect the academy, so she didn't plan on letting them join the Sacred Hall directly. What did you say? Lin Liang widened his eyes at Leng Ruoxue. I have spiritual essence pills that can make them directly advance to spiritual monarch, Lung Ruoxue said. Spiritual essence pills? Do you have 30 spiritual essence pills? Lin Liang asked in disbelief. 30 people would require 30 spiritual essence pills. Even an alchemist wouldn't dare to say that they had 30 spiritual essence pills in their hands. It was known that spiritual essence pills were very difficult to concoct. Of course. Where? Lung Ruoxue took out a jade bottle. Lin Liang immediately grabbed it impatiently, opened the bottle cap, and sniffed. They were indeed spiritual essence pills, but the smell seemed a little different from what he knew. It was more fragrant and pure, and the quality was much better than what he had seen. Where did you get them? Lin Liang asked in surprise. This girl has so many secrets. No wonder Ruhan recommended her to compete in his stead. I concocted them myself. Lung Ruoxue had already decided not to conceal her identity as an alchemist from Grandpa Lin. Alas, I originally wanted to keep a low profile, but those people just won't stop. Are you also an alchemist? This was simply a pleasant surprise. This girl was at least a master alchemist since she could concoct spiritual essence pills. Yes, Grandpa Lin. This is a secret. Oh, I know. Since Ruoxue didn't want to reveal it, of course he would keep it a secret. Ruoxue, everyone knows that their cultivation speed will be much slower after taking a spiritual essence pill. The students of our academy are 1 in a million and have the best aptitude. I'm afraid they won't agree. Lin Liang said. The students of their academy didn't need to take a spiritual essence pill at all. Advancing to spiritual monarch was just a matter of time for them. Principal, we have all taken the spiritual essence pills concocted by Mississippi. It has been less than 3 months, and I am already an advanced spiritual monarch. Lin Yuan, who received Lung Ruoxue's gaze, said hurriedly. Really? Lin Liang said in astonishment. If that was the case, wouldn't these spiritual essence pills be even harder to obtain? Of course. But only the spiritual essence pills concocted by Miss have such an effect. Others don't have it. Lin Yuan was in full admiration of the young lady now. She was his idol, his goddess. Ruoxue, is that true? Lin Liang looked eagerly at Lung Ruoxue with bright eyes. Yes. After taking one of my spiritual essence pills, it can improve a person's constitution, and their cultivation speed will also become faster in the future. Lung Ruoxue didn't deny it. This is really great. Lin Liang was so happy that he was dancing with joy. Let's see what those people dare to say now. Shuer, when do you plan to start this test? Lin Liang asked. A week later. Give them some time to think it through carefully, Lung Ruoxue said. Chapter 61. Are you also an alchemist? 2. Okay, I'll issue the announcement now, Lin Liang said anxiously. The sooner this matter was done, the less impact it would have from the Sacred Hall's students' withdrawal. Grandpa Lin, don't mention anything about the spiritual essence pills. Lung Ruoxue reminded him. She didn't want people to come to her for spiritual essence pills. Don't worry. Grandpa Lin knows what to do. Grandpa Lin, is the age limit for the students of the Sacred Hall 25? Lung Ruoxue asked. Yes. Anyone who could advance to spiritual monarch before the age of 25 was considered a heavenly talent. Only such geniuses were accepted into the Sacred Hall. Otherwise, they were not qualified to enter. What if someone exceeds the age limit? Is there a way? Lung Ruoxue asked. Among the 15 of them, only Feng De was 29 this year. The others were all within the age limit. No, unless he is a spiritual sovereign. If he advances to spiritual sovereign before the age of 35, he can also join the Sacred Hall, Lin Liang explained. Spiritual sovereign? Lung Ruoxue pondered with her gaze lingering on Feng De. Feng De sensed her gaze, and his heart skipped a beat. What does Miss want to do? After leaving the principal's office, Lung Ruoxue brought everyone to the Sacred Hall. Ruoxue, they are. Feng Oren, feeling somewhat puzzled, looked at everyone who entered. They are new students who just joined the Sacred Hall. Get to know each other. Burn. Feng Moran exclaimed softly when he saw his younger brother, who was about his height. Why your elder brother? Feng Aran was excited when he saw the familiar face in his memory. Aran, elder brother is back. Feng Moran hugged his brother, who jumped into his arms like he did when they were young. The two brothers hadn't seen each other for more than a decade and were very excited. Everyone tacitly stepped back to give them space, not wanting to disturb their reunion. Yichen walked to Lung Ruox's side and asked softly, "Feng Dai is overaged? What should we do?" "Yes. But there won't be a problem if he can advance to spiritual sovereign." Lung Ruoxue said. "How pitiful." Yichen couldn't help but sympathize. He could already foresee Feng Dai's tragic future. "Actually, I think you can bring in more of your own people," Yichen suggested after some thought. "Bring in more? Right, how did I forget Lu Tao and Chuizhu? And Mingyan?" "No, not Mingyan. He has to protect Big Brother," Lung Ruoxue murmured to herself. "I think you can bring Mu Li in too. He's a spiritual sovereign and isn't too old. It would be a waste not to use him." Yichen said. "Yes, how could I forget him? But where is he now? Do you know?" Lung Ruoxue looked at Yichen. Mu Li hadn't come to Phoenix City with Big Brother Feng and the others. "Leave him to me. I'll bring him to you in a few days," Yichen said. "Okay, I'll ask the principal for a spot." The Lung residence. "Miss, I really can't eat anymore." Feng De looked at the spirit fruits in front of him with a depressed face. Each of these spirit fruits was worth thousands of gold coins, and even money couldn't buy them. But eating good things every day was unbearable. He felt like vomiting just looking at the spirit fruits. He wanted to eat meat. He just wanted to eat meat, grilled meat, hot pot. "Boo, have mercy on me. Let me eat some meat. The captain's so pitiful." Lin Yuan and the others, who were watching from the side, sympathized with their captain's plight. But seeing the captain eating spirit fruits with a painful expression on his face every day had already become a joy for them. This was the first time they had ever seen someone eating spirit fruits that were unbuyable with gold so painfully. "You still have to eat them," Lung Ruoxue said. Feng De hadn't eaten her spiritual essence pill before, so his cultivation speed naturally couldn't match up to Lin Yuan and the others. But she gave him a remolding pill and spirit fruits for several days in a row, so his cultivation level was now at peak spiritual monarch. He could advance to spiritual sovereign as long as he stored enough spiritual power, and his biggest problem now was that he didn't have enough spiritual power, so she forced him to eat spirit fruits. "Miss, take pity on me. I want to eat meat." "Boo-hoo, you don't want to enter the sacred hall anymore?" "I do." "Then quickly advance to spiritual sovereign." "I want to, but eating fruits every day almost makes me feel like I'm about to become a spirit beast." "Spirit beast? Right, why didn't I think of that? If I get a level 9 holy beast to contract Feng De and feed it a green spirit pill to get it to advance, wouldn't Feng De be able to break through to spiritual sovereign?" "Master, level 9 holy beasts are very difficult to find." Charm looked at his whimsical master helplessly. There were not many level 9 holy beasts to begin with, and most holy beasts who could advance to level 9 would find a place with rich spiritual energy to cultivate so that they could prepare for their future advancement. They wouldn't run around everywhere. "Schwer, why don't we look for one in the forests when we have time? What if a level 9 holy beast comes out for a walk?" Yichen said with some amusement. He had seen Feng Da's pain these few days and was smiling to himself. "Then let's go now," Lung Ruoxue said. "Okay." Before leaving, Lung Ruoxue went to see her grandfather. "Grandpa, your Thunder Knight is a level 9 holy beast, right?" Lung Ruoxue asked uncertainly. She seemed to have heard her grandfather mention it once in a while. Alas, if it weren't for Feng De, she would have completely forgotten that she had green spirit pills. A green spirit pill could allow a level 9 holy beast to advance. If her grandfather's holy beast was level 9, he could use it. It didn't matter if she wasn't mistaken. At most, she would just get the beast to eat spirit fruits like Feng De. Anyway, she definitely had to get a divine beast for her grandfather. "Yes, why?" Lung Qingtian looked at his precious granddaughter in puzzlement. "Grandpa, I'm giving this to you. Get Thunder Knight to take it. I have something to do, so I'm going out first." Lung Ruoxue handed her grandfather a green pill and left. "What's the rush with this lass?" Lung Qingyan shook his head helplessly as he looked at his granddaughter disappear. "Thunder Knight, come out? Master. A black leopard appeared in front of Lung Qingtian. Chapter 62. It turns out to be just a lizard. Schwer gave this to you. Lung Qingtian threw the pill directly into Thunder Knight's mouth. Thunder Knight opened his mouth cooperatively and swallowed the pill. He knew that what his little master gave was definitely something good, but he felt something wrong as soon as the pill entered his mouth. Master, what's the matter? Lung Qingtian saw that Thunder Knight's expression was a little abnormal. Master, I'm going to break through. Thunder Knight said excitedly. Oh, breakthrough? What? You're going to break through? Lung Qingtian finally reacted and jumped up in surprise. Quickly come with me. You can't be here. But before Lung Qingtian could finish speaking, heaven and earth laws descended. Lung Ruoxue and Yi Chen sat on top of Quill with Charm lying in her arms. The two people and two beasts headed straight for the major forests. They searched several nearby medium and small forests, but they didn't find a level 9 holy beast. What should we do? Do we have to go to the illusionary forest to look for one? Lung Ruoxue asked. Let's look around here first. If there isn't one, we can only go to the illusionary forest. Yi Chen pointed at an unknown forest below. Quill, fly lower and take a look, Lung Ruoxue said. Yes, master. Who has the audacity to come to my territory? Just as Quill descended, they heard an angry roar coming from below. A level 9 holy beast? Lung Ruoxue and Yi Chen exchanged glances. This mighty pressure was definitely from a level 9 holy beast. They didn't expect a level 9 holy beast to be hiding in such an unknown little forest. Quill, go down. Yes, master, Quill answered. He was also a level 9 holy beast, so the pressure of the holy beast below posed no threat to him. Quill's sharp eagle eyes locked onto the level 9 holy beast and descended directly in front of it. It turns out to be just a lizard, Lung Ruoxue said mockingly while looking at the holy beast as tall as a hill in front of her. She knew that it was a genuine dragon, and it was a fire dragon, the dragons with the worst temper. But the dragons in this world were different from the dragons she knew. The dragons in this world had a large belly and a pair of fleshy wings, causing them to look like a lizard with wings. You are the lizard. Your whole family are lizards. Sure enough, the enormous fire-breathing dragon immediately roared furiously after hearing what Lung Ruoxue said. 2 clusters of flames spurted out from its huge nostrils. Big lizard, do you want to set the forest on fire? Lung Ruoxue wasn't only not angry when she heard this, but she was even smiling very happily. Go ahead and be angry. If you're not angry, how can I have a reason to teach you a lesson? Dragons were not to be provoked. It seemed that no one on the Ling Feng continent had been able to contract a dragon. Everyone knew that dragons couldn't be provoked, and no one dared to provoke them. Moreover, she heard that the dragon race was very united, so she didn't want to provoke them on her own initiative. But if a dragon provoked her first and she was just defending herself, then there would be no problem. Lung Ruoxue schemed very cunningly. I am a dragon, a noble fire dragon, not an ugly lizard, the fire-breathing dragon roared uncontrollably. Damn human. Do you have evidence? Lung Ruoxue asked in disbelief. I am a dragon. Isn't this the best evidence? The fire dragon was stunned. Can anyone prove that you are a dragon? I don't think so. What you said doesn't count. Lung Ruoxue provoked. Why is this stinky lizard not angry? All it knows to do is breathe fire without attacking. Is this what it means by all talk and no action? Lung Ruoxue was a little disappointed. Could this be a dragon that's as timid as a mouse? In fact, she really guessed right. This really was a dragon that was as timid as a mouse due to having been bullied by other dragons. So this dragon only dared to scare them and pretend to attack, but not really daring to at all because the other side also had a level 9 holy beast. Hey, big lizard, how many days has it been since you bathed? Why do you smell so bad? Lung Ruoxue covered her nose with a look of disgust. Seeing the big lizard not reacting, she had to add fuel to the fire. It probably hasn't since birth. I heard that lizards don't like to bathe, Yi Chen said cooperatively. Really? So dirty. What did you say? How am I dirty? I bathe frequently. The fire dragon, which was thinking about how to prove that it was a dragon, roared irritably. Who says that dragons don't like to bathe? Dragons love cleanliness. It's really infuriating. Then why are you still so dirty? Look at my charm. He smells so good. This is what you call clean. Lung Ruoxue raised the little fox whose entire body was snow-white, as if she was showing off her fair skin. Just as the fire dragon was about to speak, it felt a tingling pain on its butt. Big lizard, your butt is on fire. Lung Ruoxue had quietly thrown a fireball at the fire dragons, but when it wasn't paying attention, she didn't believe that the fire dragon could still endure it. It must have caught fire because its skin is too dry from not bathing. Yichen came to an important conclusion. Charm was sweating profusely. These two are terrible. When they join forces to plot against someone, likely no one would be able to get away. Alas, Big Lizard, I hope you know your place. Nonsense. I just bathed last month. The fire dragon roared. The two humans were really unbearable. It spat out a mouthful of dragon breath without even thinking. Lung Ruoxue and Yichen dodged lithely. Not bad, it finally attacked. Even though it fell a bit short, it still works. Lung Ruoxue and Yichen each took a side and surrounded the fire dragon. Yichen threw a punch at its thick body, causing it to howl in pain. Oh, it hurts. Lung Ruoxue threw the advanced fire element spiritual skill, Flame Feather, on the fire dragon and made a hole in its body. Then she unscrupulously took out a special jade bottle to collect the dragon's blood. Dragon blood was something good. She couldn't let it go to waste. At the side, Charm was flabbergasted by what he was seeing. Master is so frugal. She doesn't even want to waste a single drop of dragon blood. Boo! These two people are too evil. The fire dragon had tears in its eyes as it looked at the woman who was collecting its dragon blood aggrievedly. It wanted to run, but its body seemed to be restrained by something, so it couldn't move at all. It could only watch as she collected its blood. Boo! My blood! What it regretted most now was taking the initiative to provoke them. It thought they would be scared when they saw it, but who knew that it would provoke these two devils? Boo-hoo! Chapter 63. Pitiful fire dragon feeling that she had gathered enough, Lung Ruoxue stopped. Anyway, the fire dragon couldn't run away. She could get some at any time if she needed its blood. Seeing the woman finally stop collecting its blood, the enormous fire dragon finally felt relieved. After all, it didn't want to be the first dragon to die from excessive blood loss. But it didn't know Lung Ruoxue's thoughts yet. It would be depressed to death if it knew. Hey, Big Lizard, I want you to be my subordinate spirit beast. Lung Ruoxue cut straight to the chase. I don't want to be a human spirit beast, the fire dragon refused arrogantly. It was a noble dragon. How could it be a human spirit beast? If other dragons knew it became a contracted spirit beast to a human, it wouldn't be able to raise its dragon head in front of them. It was absolutely impossible. Die or become a spirit beast. Choose one, Lung Ruoxue threatened. She had always been very friendly to spirit beasts and never liked to force spirit beasts into contracts. But extraordinary times called for extraordinary measures. She was in urgent need of a level 9 holy beast. Moreover, she knew that threatening was the most practical and effective method for this timid lizard. Boo-hoo, tears welled up in the fire dragon's giant eyes. It didn't want to be a spirit beast, nor did it want to die. But it couldn't run away either, so it was in a dilemma, considering. Even though it didn't respond for a long time, Lung Ruoxue didn't rush it. She could tell that the big lizard was unwilling to die, so she gave it some time. She was the most humane. I agree to be a spirit beast, but I have a condition, the fire dragon said after some thought. Tell me. You humans can't force me to do things I don't want to, the fire dragon said. It had thought for a long time and knew that these two humans wouldn't let it go, so it wanted a condition in return. This was for the dignity of dragons. But you have to protect my subordinate, and I want you to sign a soul contract with him, Lung Ruoxue said. Dragons and phoenixes were spirit beasts with ancient noble bloodlines, and their status was the highest among all spirit beasts. You know about the soul contract? the fire dragon said in surprise. Is it strange? Dragons and phoenixes aren't the only spirit beasts with ancient bloodlines on the Ling Feng continent. Leng Ruoxue said mockingly. Does this stinky lizard think I'm inexperienced? I agree to sign the soul contract, the fire dragon said quickly, a little embarrassed. It could feel that this female jinx was a little angry. Leng Ruoxue stored the fire dragon in her pet ring and went back to the Leng residence with Yi Chen on Quill's back. Miss, Lin Yuan looked at Leng Ruoxue hesitantly. What's the matter? Leng Ruoxue looked doubtfully at Lin Yuan, who kept giving her meaningful glances. She turned around and found her grandfather standing behind her. Stinky girl, you're finally back. Leng Qingtian roared angrily. Grandpa, I've only been out for a few days. You don't have to be so angry. Leng Ruoxue said helplessly. Grandpa's temperament is becoming more childish recently. You still dare to say it? Let me ask you, what was that pill you gave me? Leng Qingtian said furiously. Green spirit pill? What for? Spirit beast advancements. Damn girl, why didn't you tell me earlier? Leng Qingtian said breathlessly. I thought Thunder Knight would know. Leng Ruoxue didn't mean to keep it a secret. She really forgot about it, and she had already left Phoenix City when she remembered. Moreover, she thought Thunder Knight would know, so she didn't turn back. After all, the sense of smell of spirit beasts was much more sensitive than that of humans. Otherwise, why would those precious heavenly materials and earthly treasures be discovered by spirit beasts first? Thunder Knight has been with Grandpa since he was still in an egg. How could he know? Leng Qingtian complained while looking at his precious granddaughter with resentful eyes. Grandpa, did Thunder Knight not advance after eating it? Leng Ruoxue guessed. Why else would Grandpa be angry? He advanced, Leng Qingtian said in a huff. Then why is Grandpa still angry? Thunder Knight is already a divine beast. Leng Ruoxue smiled gently. I'm angry because the commotion during the advancement attracted many powerhouses, Leng Qingtian said in annoyance. Why didn't you find a secretive place? Leng Ruoxue couldn't help asking. Even though she didn't care if others knew about it, her grandfather didn't seem to want others to know. There wasn't enough time. Why wasn't there enough time? Leng Ruoxue was a little puzzled. The advancement to Divine Beast shouldn't be so fast, right? Thunder Knight took the pill and advanced in less than a few minutes, Leng Qingtian said. Then he advanced as well because of Thunder Knight. He was now at intermediate spiritual supremacy and would advance to advanced spiritual supremacy soon. So fast? Leng Ruoxue asked. Master, I guess Thunder Knight advanced so fast because he had abundant spiritual power in his body. In fact, even without your green spirit pill, I believe that Thunder Knight would have advanced by himself soon enough. Charm communicated with Leng Ruoxue in their minds. Leng Ruoxue nodded. She heard from her grandfather that Thunder Knight had good aptitude and was born as a level 9 spirit beast. Grandpa, there's nothing much you can do since the commotion has already happened. You shouldn't be angry anymore. Leng Ruoxue coaxed. The winds howl around the highest peaks. It will attract envy, Leng Qingtian said. He was afraid that someone would do something underhanded. He was a spiritual supremacy and had a divine beast, so it was difficult for others not to be envious. Some people might not dare to do it openly, but it was possible to do it in secret. No one dared to touch him because of his strength, but it didn't mean that no one would touch the people around him. Let them try. Anyone who dares court death will be killed without mercy. Leng Ruoxue said coldly. They had to ask if she agreed before hurting her family. Perhaps I'm too worried. Leng Qingtian sighed. With Shuer around, I really don't need to worry so much. Shuer, did you find the level 9 holy beast? Leng Qingtian finally remembered why she left home after complaining for a while. Chapter 64. Establishing the Supreme Hall. 1. Found. What about Fengde? The captain is eating spirit fruits in his room, Lin Yuan said. Before the young lady left, she said that she wanted the captain to finish the spirit fruits. How could he dare not listen? Lung Ruoxue walked into Feng Da's room and happened to see him eating a spirit fruit in his hand with a pained expression. He kept muttering, "This is meat, this is meat." Lung Ruoxue smiled helplessly. "Just look at how gluttonous he is." Feng Da. Mississippi. Feng Da hurriedly stood up and looked at her with an ingratiating expression. "I see that you like these fruits. More." Lung Ruoxue teased. "Miss, please don't make me eat anymore. I really can't take it anymore." Feng Da was so scared that he was about to cry. "Boo. Miss is too evil. Alright, don't eat then. I really don't need to eat anymore." "Great." Feng Da said happily. He had never known that eating too many spirit fruits, which everyone dreamed of, would actually be so painful. In fact, if he were merely one step away from advancing, just one spirit fruit would have been enough. But since he was really lacking in spiritual power, eating one was like a drop in the bucket and simply not enough. So he ate spirit fruits every day, so much so that he felt like vomiting. "Establish a contract," Lung Ruoxue said to the fire dragon as she led it out of the ring. "Miss, this is?" Feng Da stared in bewilderment and disbelief at the spirit beast that suddenly appeared in front of him. Is this a dragon?" He wasn't the only one. Everyone who came to watch the excitement was stunned. "What is this? It looks like a dragon. Where did Miss get it? Swear, is this a fire dragon?" Lung Qingtian was also surprised. "Is this the level 9 holy beast Swear found?" He was speechless. "Isn't Swear a little too bold? Can dragons be provoked?" "Yes, it's a big lizard. Why are you in a daze? Hurry up and establish the contract." Lung Ruoxue said indifferently and kicked the big lizard. "Oh." The fire dragon looked at Lung Ruoxue aggrievedly. "This jinx is so crude." Then it looked at its future master with tears in its eyes and chanted the contract. The contract array came as scheduled and enveloped the two of them. After the contract was established, the contract array disappeared. "Hello, master, please take care of me," the fire dragon said politely. Please take care of me as well," Feng Da said quickly. He was still in disbelief, but the mental connection between his and the fire dragon's souls was real. "Mississippi." Feng Da looked at Lung Ruoxue gratefully. He didn't know what words to use to express his gratitude to her. "Take it and find a place with few people to advance." Lung Ruoxue gave Feng Da a green spirit pill. "Yes, I will definitely not disappoint you, miss," Feng Da said grandly. Then he flew out of the city on the back of the fire dragon. "Miss, we're back." Lung Ruoxue and the others were eating in the garden when they heard a sound coming from the sky. They looked up in unison. One person and one dragon landed in the garden. Feng Da ran toward them excitedly, and the fire dragon transformed into human form and approached them. "Mississippi. Boss, you've finally advanced. You don't have to eat fruits anymore," Lin Yuan said with a grin. "Stinky brat, how dare you laugh at me? See if I don't spank you." Feng Da also grinned. In the past, he advanced to spiritual monarch and was already very satisfied because he chanced upon good fortune. How could he dare to hope to become a spiritual sovereign? But he was a spiritual sovereign now. "Thank you, masters miss," the fire dragon said respectfully. He didn't expect a small pill would allow him to advance to divine beast, especially since he had been cultivating for so many years without breaking through. "Since you are now Feng Da's spirit beast, you are naturally also a part of my group. Of course, I will treat you well," Lung Ruoxue said. "Hua Ao will definitely protect master," the fire dragon promised. Lung Ruoxue nodded in satisfaction. She looked at Feng Da, Lin Yuan, and the others, who were still fooling around in the garden, and turned around to leave. "Grandpa Lin, what's the matter?" Lung Ruoxue asked in bewilderment. She had just arrived at the academy when Elder Chiu informed her that the principal was looking for her. "Can't I look for you if there's nothing?" Lin Liang said with feigned sternness. "Of course you can," Lung Ruoxue said helplessly. This old man used to be quite rational, but why is he becoming more and more like a child now? "Ruoxue, I have something to tell you," Lin Liang said awkwardly. "Grandpa Lin, just say it." "His Majesty sought me out yesterday to speak up for those students," Lin Liang said. Even though he was a spiritual supremacy and not bound by the imperial family, The Heavenly Phoenix Academy was in the Eastern Lagoon Empire after all, so he had to give the emperor some face. And Lung Ruoxue waited for him to continue. The emperor said that since it's impossible for them to return to the Sacred Hall, then we should establish a Supreme Hall of equal status to the Sacred Hall. One Sacred Hall and one Supreme Hall. This way, there will be friendly competition between each other, which can also promote the improvement of the students. After all, those students all have excellent aptitudes. We can't let them drop out of school, nor can we let the other academies benefit. Lin Liang said, telling Ruoxue the emperor's exact words. What does Grandpa Lin think? I also think we can try this idea. If the two halls can really play a benign competitive role like the emperor said, it will also be a good thing for the academy. But I'm afraid it will have the opposite effect. Lin Liang said a little worriedly. Those people were restless. Grandpa Lin, if you establish the Supreme Hall, then the academy competition, she didn't expect the emperor to bring the art of balance into the academy. It was probably for the academy competition. The emperor proposed to choose the best talents from both halls to participate in the competition, Lin Liang said. If this happened, the competition would be very intense. Grandpa Lin, of course I don't dare to have any objections if the academy wants to establish a Supreme Hall. After all, I am only a student. But they better not provoke me. Lung Ruoxue said coldly. Lass, how could Lin Liang not know that this girl was a little displeased? Chapter 65. Establishing the Supreme Hall. 2. What are you doing? Lung Ruoxue returned to the training room and saw two groups of people confronting each other. We are students of the Supreme Hall. We have to train here. Chen Fong blustered arrogantly. The Supreme Hall? Has it been established? Lung Ruoxue asked mockingly. Of course. We want to train here. Make room for us. Chen Fong yelled. What a joke. This is the Sacred Hall. If you want to train, go to your Supreme Hall. Don't run wild here. Lung Ruoxue said coldly. No wonder Vice Principal Chen hasn't done anything for the past few days. So he was planning to set up the Supreme Hall to go against us. Vice Principal Chen said that we can share a training room with you, Chen Fong said with her nose in the air. He told you, not me. Go to whoever told you. Lung Ruoxue said impatiently. As the vice principal, he should cultivate diligently instead of scheming things all day long. No wonder he hasn't been able to break through. How dare you ignore Vice Principal Chen's orders? Chen Fong roared angrily. Fong De, throw them out. Lung Ruoxue ordered coldly. Yes. Fong De picked one up with each hand and threw them out of the window with a whoosh. He learned this trick from Deputy Leader Yi. How dare you? Shen Fong was so angry that her pretty face reddened and distorted. Do you want to leave by yourselves, or do you want us to throw you out? Lung Ruoxue asked with her shapely eyebrows raised. Some timid students heard Lung Ruoxue's words and ran away in fright. Do you want to be thrown out? Lung Ruoxue asked Chen Fong. Why, you will regret it. Chen Fong said fiercely and slammed the door behind her. Swear, you will regret it. Yi Chen teased gently. Why do people keep telling me recently that I will regret it? Lung Ruoxue said speechlessly. Fong De, why did you just stand there foolishly and not chase them out? Lung Ruoxue asked in puzzlement. When did Fong De and the others become so well-behaved? Hee, miss, we just wanted to see what they could do. Fong De said with a grin. Swear, what is this Supreme Hall that woman mentioned? Fong Moran asked in puzzlement. Lung Ruoxue repeated what the principal had told her. What about the academy's selection competition? Xiaohua asked. He was more concerned about the academy competition. The two halls will be competing for the spots, Lung Ruoxue said. Doesn't that mean more than 100 people will compete for 30 spots? Xiaohua frowned slightly. Yes, but are you not confident? Lung Ruoxue raised an eyebrow at Xiaohua. Of course I am. He used to rank among the top 10 in the Sacred Hall before, but his confidence had taken a hit after seeing the people brought in by Lung Ruoxue. These people were both stronger and had more combat experience than him. He was simply at the kindergarten level in front of them. But it was this disparity that aroused his fighting spirit. Now he was even a little glad that he didn't choose to leave back then. Otherwise, where would he find such good sparring partners? Then train hard, Lung Ruoxue said. But Feng De, come spar with me, Xiaohua said while pulling Feng De. Xiaohua, you are crazy. Feng De said helplessly as he looked at his young lady with aggrieved eyes. Why does this guy get me to spar every time? He is a battle maniac. Lin Yuan, how many people have signed up? Lung Ruoxue looked at Lin Yuan. A total of 198 people have signed up. Today is the last day, Lin Yuan said. Lung Ruoxue nodded thoughtfully. It was fewer than she had expected, but it was still acceptable. Lin Yuan, inform everyone to come to the sacred hall to take the test in the morning the day after tomorrow. Okay. Oh right, big brother Feng Aran hasn't been to the academy for a few days, Lung Ruoxue said to Feng Moran. They'll go back to the Feng residence later, Feng Moran said. In fact, he was also a little worried. They'll go with you? Lung Ruoxue was a little worried about letting big brother Feng go alone. They'll go as well, Yichen said. Lung Ruoxue and Yichen followed Feng Moran to the Feng family's main residence. Who are you? Go away. This place is the Feng residence. Not just anyone can come here. The guard at the gate looked down on them when he saw their ordinary clothes. I am Feng Moran said coldly. There would always be some dogs in families like this who judged people by their attire. He was too lazy to be angry with them. What Feng Moran? I don't know you, the guard said disdainfully. Did he think that he was related just because his surname was Feng as well? How could there be such a good thing? Big brother Feng, looks like this isn't your home. You haven't been home for more than a decade. Perhaps the owner of this place has already changed. Lung Ruoxue said indifferently. Yes, brother Feng, is your Feng family. Yichen deliberately left half the sentence unsaid so that people's imagination would run wild. You, what's the matter? A middle-aged man who looked like a steward walked out at that moment. Steward Feng, it's them. Who knows where they came from, but they dared to cause trouble at our Feng residence. The guard hurriedly reported when he saw his boss come. How dare you cause trouble here? Do you know where you are? The middle-aged steward questioned disdainfully. It was obvious that they were not children of noble families from their clothing. Open your dog eyes wide and see clearly. I am Feng Moran, the eldest young master of the Feng family. Feng Moran said coldly, unable to bear it anymore. The eldest young master of the Feng family? If you're the eldest young master of the Feng family, then I'm the head of the Feng family. Moreover, the eldest young master of our Feng family isn't called Feng Moran. The steward said with a mocking face. Then what is the name of the eldest young master of the Feng family? Lung Ruoxue asked. She wanted to see how the Feng family treated big brother Feng. Chapter 66. Stuck up, the eldest young master of our Feng family is called Feng Qingran. The steward looked at Lung Ruoxue in amazement. This woman is so beautiful, even more beautiful than the eldest young master's most beautiful concubine. Feng Qingran, Feng Moran's eyes flashed with hatred. King Kong, Feng Moran called out softly. Master! A 2-meter-tall ape appeared in front of Feng Moran. As his master's spirit beast, he knew about the hatred in his master's heart very well. Break open the door. Feng Moran ordered. Yes. King Kong raised his giant fist and smashed the thick door. With just one punch, the exquisitely carved door became a pile of fragments. The steward and the guard at the door were dumbfounded when they saw this scene. They were stunned for a while before they screamed, Guards! What's wrong? What happened? A few people quickly ran out after hearing the commotion. They were stunned when they saw that the door was gone. Head steward, it's them, the steward stammered. You did it? How dare you? The man referred to as the head steward roared angrily. Head steward Feng, don't you recognize me anymore? Feng Moran asked softly. Why you are? He found him familiar, but he really couldn't remember. Feng Moran. Ah, you're the eldest young master, the head steward said in surprise. The eldest young master had left home for more than a decade, and they all thought that he had already. Stop calling me that. Your eldest young master is Feng Qingran, Feng Moran said coldly. He had no interest in the position of the eldest young master of the Feng family, but he was very interested in Feng Qingran. This, cold sweat broke out on head steward Feng's forehead. It was obvious that the sudden return of this eldest young master, who had been away from home for more than a decade, was not because he was homesick. Moreover, the enormous orangutan eyeing him covetously from the side made him feel even more stressed. Head steward, is he really the eldest young master? The steward asked cautiously. Of course. Eldest young master, please come in, head steward Feng said respectfully. He could clearly feel that the eldest young master was different from before. Where is Oren? I came back to see my younger brother, Feng Moran said. I in his room, head steward Feng said carefully. The second young master had been subjected to a lot of pressure from the eldest master all these years. Get lost. Let me out. I want to go to the academy. Feng Moran and the others heard the commotion before they approached. What's going on? Feng Moran asked. Young Master Oren hasn't been feeling well these days, so eldest master asked him to stay at home and rest. But he didn't want to and insisted on going to the academy, so eldest master had to get people to keep an eye on him, the head steward explained carefully. Really? Really? Cold sweat rolled down head steward Feng's forehead. Heavens, why is the pressure of eldest young master so terrifying? The three of them followed head steward Feng to the door of Feng Aoran's room. Feng Moran kicked the door open and knocked out the guards in the room. Elder brother, Ruoshueichin. Feng Aoran, who was trapped in the room, was excited to see them. Aoran, how dare they lock you up? Feng Moran asked angrily. Isn't Aoran favored in the Feng family? That. It's all because of that bastard Feng Qingran. He wanted me to join the Supreme Hall, but I refused, so he got someone to lock me up, Feng Aoran explained angrily. Grandfather and the first elder let him do whatever he wanted? Feng Moran said unpleasantly. Someone is coming. Lung Ruoshue interrupted Feng Aoran. I heard Moran is back? A middle-aged man walked into the room. Eldest uncle, Feng Aoran said indifferently. This must be Moran. You've grown so big, Mon. You've suffered alone outside for so many years. Feng Shao said kindly, his face full of affection and heartache. Feng Moran looked at his eldest uncle's wolf-in-the-sheepskin face mockingly. Thank you for worrying, eldest uncle. We're family. There's no need to be so polite, Feng Shao said lovingly. Are these two your friends, Moran? Feng Shao looked at Lung Ruoshue and Yi Chen thoughtfully. He did not know their backgrounds, and he couldn't discern their cultivation levels at all. Moreover, he couldn't tell what cultivation level his nephew, who suddenly returned home, was at either. But he heard from the head steward that his nephew had a powerful spirit beast. I'm Lung Ruoshue, Yi Chen Shuer's fiancé. Oh, it turns out to be Miss Lung and young Master Yi. Welcome. Feng Shao didn't expect the beautiful girl in front of him to be Lung Ruoshue, General Lung's most beloved granddaughter. General Lung was a prominent figure in Phoenix City, so he really didn't dare to provoke her. Moreover, he had heard that Lung Ruoshue had recovered her mental faculties. It seemed to be true. Oh, Ruoshue. Uncle Feng apologizes for my steward's negligence earlier, Feng Shao said sincerely and automatically tried to improve their relationship. He even addressed himself as Uncle Feng. We won't blame your servants. It's our fault for not wearing something more extravagant, Lung Ruoshue said indifferently. Hee, Ruoshue really likes to joke, Feng Shao said with an awkward smile. What would others be wearing if yours aren't extravagant enough? That steward has no eyesight. However, how could he be the acting patriarch of a top family if he couldn't discern that the clothes they were wearing were made of snow silk? With this thought, he couldn't help but curse the steward in his head. I want to see grandfather, Feng Moran said directly. Father has been in seclusion for a long time. Eldest uncle is now the acting patriarch, so talking to me is the same as talking to him, Feng Shao said. Oren is a student of the Heavenly Phoenix Academy. I hope he can attend classes at the academy tomorrow, Feng Moran said coldly. He didn't beat around the bush and directly revealed his intentions. Well, Moran, Oren hasn't been feeling well for the past few days, which was why Uncle didn't let him go to the academy. You should have heard that the Heavenly Phoenix Academy is now a troublesome place, so it's best for our Feng family not to get involved, Feng Xiao said earnestly. Anyone who heard him would think that he was really thinking on behalf of Feng Oran. Moreover, he didn't know that Feng Moran was now also a student of the academy. Chapter 67. The test begins. Is the acting patriarch Feng blaming me? Leng Ruoxue said with a faint smile. Why would you say that? Feng Xiao said with a blank face. Because the trouble in the Heavenly Phoenix Academy began with me. Leng Ruoxue said with a light smile. I really didn't know. In fact, Feng Xiao had just returned from elsewhere today, so Feng Qingran hadn't had the chance to tell him everything clearly. He hurried over when he heard the steward report that Feng Moran was back. Feng Oran was also imprisoned in his name by Feng Qingran, but he couldn't undermine his son in front of outsiders. Now, I hope Feng Oran can go to the academy tomorrow. The selection test is about to begin. It is a critical time, and he's not allowed to miss it, Leng Ruoxue said coldly. Big brother Feng, stay at home and accompany Aoran. We'll be leaving first. Then Leng Ruoxue left with Yichen. Feng Xiao was so angry seeing Leng Ruoxue leave without even saying goodbye to him. How dare a simpleton ignore me? However, he wasn't the real patriarch of the Feng family yet, so he didn't dare to do anything to Leng Ruoxue even if he was angry. Otherwise, the old antiques in the family wouldn't spare him if he offended General Leng. On the day of the test, Leng Ruoxue and the others arrived early at the sacred hall to prepare for it. Soon, the students taking the test came one after another. Miss, everyone is here, Lin Yuan reported to Leng Ruoxue after counting the number of people. Leng Ruoxue nodded and looked at the more than 200 people in front of her. Today's test is very simple. As long as you enter this room and can come out within the stipulated time, you will pass, Leng Ruoxue said. After hearing this, the 200-plus people present, including Feng De and the others, were stunned for a moment. What kind of test is this? At first, they all thought that they would at least carry out battles to decide the winners and losers even if they didn't test their aptitude. But unexpectedly, they only needed to enter this room. Schwer, what are you testing them on? Feng Moran couldn't help asking while watching them enter the room one by one. They had set up this room early in the morning, but they still didn't know what it was for. Character. I don't want to be taken advantage of by any ingrates, Leng Ruoxue explained. What's inside then? Feng Moran asked curiously. Character was indeed very important, and he also knew that many of the people who registered this time were descendants of noble families. As a member of a noble family as well, he knew very well what their mission was. Thus, he actually didn't want those people to pass the test, and he was also afraid of bringing trouble and danger to Schwer. Heart-refining illusion array. Leng Ruoxue said. In this room was an illusion array that tested people's temperament. She had learned it in the heaven-defying art, and it could be used to test people's character. But the illusion array in the heaven-defying art was very complicated and profound. If she used the actual one, no one present would be able to pass, so she slightly modified the illusion array. The current one in the room was the illusion array she had modified, which was just right to test these people. Big brother Feng, do you want to go in and experience it? Leng Ruoxue looked at the dazed Feng Moran mischievously. Okay, I'll go in and take a look, Feng Moran said eagerly and walked in directly after speaking. He really didn't know what an illusion array was. Anyone else who wants to enter can enter, Leng Ruoxue said. After hearing this, Feng De and the others all walked in curiously, wanting to experience the illusion array mentioned by their young lady. Aren't you going in? Leng Ruoxue asked curiously when she saw that everyone else had entered to try except for Yi Chen and Mu Li, who were clearly not interested. Not interested, Yi Chen said indifferently. Me neither, Mu Li said. Leng Ruoxue glanced at them expectantly and then fell silent. The three of them stood quietly at the entrance and waited. Feng Moran walked into the illusion array. At first, the entire array was a vast expanse of white. Slowly, scenes began to appear around him. He seemed to have returned to his childhood. From the moment he took the aptitude test, from being the favored eldest son of the main branch of the Feng family to the useless eldest son of the Feng family, from when he left home to when he met Schwerer in the illusionary forest, and so on. All these scenes replayed like a movie. More scenes appeared immediately after. If there were anyone else by his side, they would see that Feng Moran was in pain. His forehead was full of sweat, and his face was occasionally full of hatred. But as time passed, his expression became calmer and more composed, and his will became more resolute. "Schwer, aren't you worried at all that they've gone in?" Yichen couldn't help asking after waiting for a while. "What's there to worry about? I trust my judgment," Lung Ruoxue said confidently. Half an hour later, Feng Moran was the first to emerge. He looked slightly disheveled, but his complexion was not too bad. "Big brother Feng, congratulations. You are the first person to come out," Lung Ruoxue smiled gently. Schwer, inside, Feng Moran was even more clear-headed after coming out, as though he had been reborn, and his willpower became more resolute. "It feels pretty good, doesn't it?" Lung Ruoxue said expectantly. Anyone who successfully walked out of the illusion array would experience a mental advancement that would be more beneficial for their future cultivation. "Yes, Schwer, it's amazing," Feng Moran exclaimed. The feeling of being there in person was too real. "Big brother Feng, anyone who can successfully emerge from the illusion will have faster cultivation in the future, especially in terms of their mental state," Lung Ruoxue explained. The illusion array would automatically adjust according to people's growth experiences, so each person would face different illusions. However, no matter what illusion they faced, it would infinitely magnify the darkness in their hearts. If they could break through the darkness in their hearts, their future achievements would be limitless. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.